Welcome to the best sports talk show in Macomb. It is that time. It's Friday, 5 o'clock. Well, we missed a little bit. It's 5:02. That's okay. It's that time. It's C4 Sports. I was off last week. I hope you guys carried the show well. I know you did. My name is Matt Langman, at LmanMatt93 on Twitter. Tweet all of us your sports questions during the show, and we will get back to you. I promise you that we will. As long as it has to do with sports, we will get back to you.
I am Ryan Mason, and you can follow me at Mason_IL Chief.
And I'm Darius Hawkins. Y'all can follow me on Twitter at _Hawk_13. And even if you do tweet me about stuff that's not sports related, I will still get back to you. Because that's how I get down.
That's how Darius does. That's how the Hawk does it.
Yeah.
Just anything. If it's
Anything.
tweeted at you.
Yeah, I'm for the people, so I'm going to respond. If it's like some little crazy stuff like a big girl saying like, what's your number, I probably won't get back to that. But I mean, if it's all something that I can enjoy, then I get back to it.
All right, I respect that.
Yeah.
So we'll get the show underway with some Western football. Last week, of course, was homecoming. Western took on the #1 ranked FCS team in the country, the North Dakota State Bison. J.C. Baker ran for a career-high 175 yards and a touchdown against the nation's third-ranked rushing defense, but North Dakota State scored twice in the fourth quarter to pull out a 17-10 Missouri Valley Football Conference win on Saturday afternoon at Hanson Field. The top-ranked Bison had allowed only 291 total rushing yards in the 4 previous games, and Western nearly matched that total with 253 yards, thanks in large part to J.C. Baker. The game was tied at 3 at halftime. Western took the opening kickoff of the second half back. Baker rushed for 33 yards on the opening drive and broke through for a 34-yard score. Knuffman added a 30-yard field goal in the second quarter. He converted the extra point to give Western a 10-3 lead. The defense held North Dakota State. They played pretty well the whole game, from what I saw. Obviously, I was not on campus last weekend, but I saw some of the highlights from the game online, and I heard about it from people who were at the game. The defense played very impressive. They really made North Dakota State struggle pretty well, even though in the end a late drive by the Bison gave them the lead, and they never looked back from there. So, guys, what are your thoughts on our homecoming loss to North Dakota State?
I think for a team that's ranked #1 in the country, like North Dakota State is, Western definitely did a good job of remaining close. I feel like we said that, though, about them with almost every game this year, except maybe Wisconsin in the second half versus Southern Illinois. So it's nice for them that they remain close. J.C. Baker, we talked about the run game every week. He had a great game last week. I believe it was a career-high 175 yards. Trenton Norvell, another person we talked about, played horrible, though. He only had like 68 passing yards. So, I mean, it was kind of like, both sides of the coin, the yin and the yang, the good and the bad. But I guess you could say, well, Coach Nielsen said it's not a moral victory. Of course, I agree. There's no such thing as a moral victory. You either win or you lose. We keep talking about how they could build motivation. I don't know how you build motivation when you keep having close losses. Eventually, you just wake up and say, dang, we suck and we can't win close games. But, I mean, I guess it's nice for just the school overall. They could, use this as a gauge to see how close they are to the best team.
Yeah, I was watching on Goal Line on ESPN since ESPN3 had it. I was really impressed. I think it was more North Dakota State thought they were just going to come in and it was going to be an easy win. But I did like Baker running. We were talking about that last week, that he had to run the ball.
Yeah.
He needed to get back to having good games because he hadn't had them against the top teams. Was okay against Valpo and Drake, but when it came time for the Big Ten, and like we said, Big Ten's a little bit different, but it was nice to see him run the ball. Came up short. I was thinking it was going to be upset. Until they scored the touchdown in the fourth, I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay here because I know I'm not going to count chickens before the hatch. But I'm like, if they didn't score that one touchdown to tie it up, I was going like, okay, I might be headed down to the field just so I could run onto the field and say, hey, I've been here the whole time, even though I've been watching it on ESPN3.
Yeah, I think it was good to see J.C. Baker have a good game, but I was telling you guys beforehand, I've been pretty lenient with Western, obviously playing Big Ten opponents in the past, but now it kind of enough is enough. This was the number 1 ranked FCS school in the country, so I mean maybe not necessarily expecting a win, but it's kind of the whole mentality I think of the program needs to change, where it's we'll get them next time, or yeah, it's a moral victory. We only lost by 7 points. Yes, they are the number 1 team. Maybe you're not going to win, especially at this point with the team we do have, but if we don't change then that mentality, that's always going to be what you get here. Is we almost won. You won't get a great turnout even for homecoming. You don't get a great turnout of the fans at the football game. So unless we kind of change that mentality, which is something I was hoping Coach Nielsen would do, since he had a lot of success in Division II, I think that you're always going to be stuck in this situation if you're Western Illinois. It can't be about moral victories anymore. It has to be about actual victories and improving that record. And when you have a player like J.C. Baker who can put up 175 yards on the number 1 ranked FCS team in the country, it's a start at least. And I think they have to build from there. Trenton Norville, I would like to see, I guess, more from him. It looked like he only had 68 yards, 0 touchdowns, and a pick in this game against North Dakota State, and I thought he would take a bigger step forward this year. He was kind of my player to watch this year. A sophomore quarterback, started as a freshman last year, and it continued to this year. He hasn't had a good year for Western Illinois. He's turned the ball over a lot and really struggled at times. He's still a young quarterback, still developing, but I kind of expected a little bit more out of him. We still got a lot of games to play, but I was kind of looking for him and a lot of other guys, the offensive line included, to take a bigger step forward. But they're relying too heavily on J.C. Baker and their defense. I know Martinez Davis at corner has had a heck of a year for Western Illinois, but I think the point I was trying to make is that it goes back to the mentality that Western has. They can't be content with moral victories anymore if they really want to be a top program, especially at the FCS level, or even if we're just looking at the Missouri Valley. So that is kind of disappointing to see. But I guess I am happy they played well and it was a good game, but I mean they didn't win in the end, and that's kind of what you got to focus on as we're really getting into the middle of the schedule here now for Western.
Absolutely, like we've all said, winning is really everything. I mean, moral victories, you can pretend that means a lot, but you can't look at your record and say, oh, we have banners hanging for moral victories. You can't say, well, I'm a good coach because you look at my win-loss record, and then next to that is the amount of moral victories we had. You either win or you lose, and they've been losing a lot of close games.
Yeah, and I guess that's good in a sense, but you would like to see them break through with a good team. And I think they have. I would like to say this would be a week coming up when they play Youngstown State that it could be a good game, but I saw them play at Illinois, and it doesn't look good. It's not. I have a feeling they're going to lose more this week than they did against North Dakota State.
Why is that?
Their running game was very impressive against Illinois, even though Illinois can't tackle worth a crap right now at all. But, I mean, they were just running down between the tackles, a little bit outside, but they were just, it was like, can you stop us? And Illinois couldn't. So, unless Western's defense can stop the running game, then expect a big day for Youngstown State.
Yeah, I know the team is on the plane yesterday. I think they got in the plane to fly out to Ohio. The game is tomorrow. Don't know if you'll be able to watch that one. Maybe ESPN3 because it is Youngstown. I know Youngstown normally has someone through MediaCom, I want to say. But definitely keep you updated on that one. What are your predictions for tomorrow's game?
Simple. A loss.
A loss?
A loss because they've been losing to everybody that has any, sliver of being good. So I have no reason to believe that they're going to win this one. If you can't beat the number 1 team, I don't know why you would beat the number 10. They also lost the number 16, so I mean, a loss.
I say a loss by 14.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. I'd say a 10-point loss for Western. They seem to come close. It's almost close, but no cigar is their motto this year. I think at the end of the day, they should just beat up on the poorer teams in the conference as we're getting into conference play now. But I just don't see them. I think they're a middle-of-the-pack team. That's all they've shown us really this year.
And it shows that. I mean, Missouri Valley has actually some top-ranked teams. I mean, it helps having North Dakota State there, but you have Youngstown State, you have Southern Illinois, who's up there. So, I mean, Missouri Valley's not. I mean, yeah, we are on the bottom tier. It would be nice to be on the upper tier, and I thought that a little bit maybe with the first 2 games. Because they looked impressive, but, I mean, that just tells you, I mean, it's like saying Alabama might look good, but they played Tallahassee State Junior College or something like that. So
Yeah.
I'm hope maybe a little bit better. I mean, you still got to think our quarterback's still young.
Yeah. Only a sophomore.
Yeah, he's got 2 more years left.
Yeah, that's why I hope he takes some bigger steps forward, especially protecting the ball. He's turned it over too much this year, has Trenton Norville. Yeah, still a young guy, only a sophomore, but it is his second year starting, and I think he needs a little bit more of a grip on the offense almost, because it seems like he can be confused back there, and I think the offensive line needs to help him out a little bit more as well.
Yeah, they looked impressive against Northwestern. I mean, I like the little passes they made out to the flats off of looked like a running play. I think they need to do more of that. You can do that even way back at midfield. I mean, pick your spots and they could have big yards, but I think they just go away and they try to get Baker in there a little bit more than sometimes they need to. Like I said, they need to pass.
Yeah.
You have to have that good balance.
Absolutely.
And hopefully that starts coming. Now we know the running game's there by what Baker did. Now let's get that passing game to be up there in Baker's echelon.
Yeah, I hope so. That'd be nice if the passing game could help out JC, because you have such a good running game. I'm surprised play action hasn't been more effective. If you have a guy like JC Baker putting up 175 yards on North Dakota State, so maybe that could be something that Nielsen can work into his arsenal. Obviously, don't know what the game plan is, not in the huddle or the locker room or anything heading into this weekend. But I don't know. It's just something to think about, because watching football for as long as we all have, normally you have a great running back, an effective running back like that. The play action passing game definitely can open up, and I'm surprised that hasn't helped Norville out more than I guess it seems to have so far this season.
Yeah, I still don't think that they know which Baker they're going to get, because remember, all his big games have been here at home. He hasn't really had a good game on the road yet, so I think it's still personally for him, even though he had a nice game last week. I know personally he understands. I believe that he still realizes that, look, on the road I still have to get it together. So hopefully he also has a chip on his shoulder, so he's not just sitting back, oh, I did great last week, now let me chill.
Yeah.
He also has to have a nice road performance too.
Yeah, I think he said this week that his soul wasn't into the game. I'm pretty sure that's what the quote was from one of the press conferences. And you put up 175 yards against North Dakota State. That's a good game. I wouldn't say that's a bad game. It's a little surprising that you would say your soul isn't into it, but we'll see. He needs to prove it on the road, like you said, Darius. And I think this would be the week to do it, wouldn't you? So if it's going to happen, it's got to start soon. And so you would hope that would happen this week. But any final thoughts before we move on to professional football?
No, not really. Hopefully passing game gets a little
Yeah.
bit better. That's all I'm looking forward to.
Get a victory or find something more intriguing for us to have to talk about every week.
Yeah, Western football, it's kind of the same story every week. We're basically just repeating the same thing over and over again. It's been that kind of season for the Leathernecks. But NFL, we've had a lot of interesting storylines coming out of the NFL if we're going to talk pro football. Last night's game was pretty entertaining. Ryan, you want to take away some NFL talk right here?
I'm not.
You're the keeper of the picks.
I'm the keeper of the picks, but
That's why I let you take away NFL.
Take away NFL. Well, I can't believe you're.
Well, at least tell us, how did we do last week? Tell us about last week's picks.
Well, pick wise, me and Adam both had 11 wins just because we picked the Giants over the Falcons. But you're still ahead only by 2.
Okay.
I'm down by 3, and Darius, you took a step back. You're down by 6. So sorry there. So do you want to switch your pick back to Dallas to see if you can pick a point up?
No, I'm okay, because one thing I've learned through this harsh journey of 5 NFL weeks is that we all can't be winners. And by that I mean I can't be successful and the Cowboys you be successful at the same time. One of us has to make a sacrifice.
So that's you.
And so I've decided, this is breaking news, C4 Sports News. I've decided to make the sacrifice, and I'll suffer in the C4 Sports competition if my Cowboys keep winning. So now if the Cowboys hit a losing streak, then I'm just going to have to come in here and be dominant. All
That's
right?
very honorable of you.
Yeah, that's just how much of a giver I am.
Very good, very good. Last night's game was pretty good. I don't know who watched it because I was flipping in between hockey.
All I had
Opening
was
night.
hockey. That's it.
Opening
I
night
watched 1 second of the
was
game.
awesome. But I flipped back in between between periods, intermissions, and I really thought that Indianapolis was going to give away the game.
Yeah.
The defense finally stepped up, and J.J. Watt should have had another pick six because he had the fumble recovery for the touchdown, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
should have had pick six, so he should have had 12 of the points for Texans last night. But Andrew Luck just looks way too good.
Yeah.
And I said a while back, because like within 2 or 3 years, he could be the MVP. He could be the MVP at the end of this year.
Yeah, he's up for contention for the MVP.
Yeah,
right
I mean
now.
his stats look great. We were talking earlier, J.J. Watt could be
Yeah.
is the MVP right now. It would be a close battle between those two. But Andrew Luck has, if you want to get rid of Peyton Manning's and Tom Brady's and the Aaron Rodgers, I want to go with Andrew Luck. I want to see young blood. And you know what? I would kind of stick it to RG3 up there in Washington, who thought he was better than Andrew Luck coming out of the draft.
Personally, hold on now. I still feel like he was better than Andrew Luck coming out the draft. And if he didn't get hurt, he'd still be better than Andrew Luck right now. So I'm not going to let us diss RG3 like that because he's hurt right now. And clearly that backup that they feel like is better than him, he's complete garbage. That's Kirk Cousins anyway. He ain't got nothing to do with this. But if I'm going to shoot shots, it's going to be just somebody who just standing there and he don't deserve them because he just in the way. All right? That's all I got to say. J.J. Watt is the best player in the league. That's it. Forget who won the game last night. Yeah, the Colts won. J.J. Watt is the best player in the league by far.
Yeah, I think so. I think for me, I think injury or not, Andrew Luck is the better quarterback than RG3 because of his fundamentals, his technique, and his mentality. I think RG3 is a little bit mentally soft. To me, I think he's a little bit of a child, and I don't like that. I'm not a big RG3 fan, and I've said since college that, yes, RG3 deserved the Heisman that year, but I would still take Luck, and I'd still stick with that now. Because Andrew Luck, he's the quarterback mold. He's the quarterback that's a proven winner. We still haven't seen kind of that mobile quarterback really win the Super Bowl. Maybe Russell Wilson, maybe, but I mean, Russell Wilson is more a game manager than anything else, and that defense won them that Super Bowl. But I still think everybody. I hope a mobile quarterback. I'm a big fan. That's why I love Oregon. That's my type of offense. If I was a head coach, that's probably what I would be running. But it hasn't won yet. We still see Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. That style of quarterback is what wins in the NFL, and that's what Andrew Luck is, and that's why he's winning. That's why I have him second in the MVP right now, too, only J.J. Watt for the NFL. And I think Andrew Luck's a pretty clutch player, too. He's got that passion that I like to see. He reminds me a lot of Peyton Manning. He's cool under pressure. I think his downfield ability is still a little bit in question. He still doesn't throw the ball downfield that much. I think it also has to do with the targets he has in Indiana. I know T.Y. Hilton had a game. A big shout-out to T.Y. for hitting that LeBron James game winner dance after one of his touchdowns he did. I got to give him a shout-out for that. Anytime I see that dance, anybody hits that dance, they get a shout-out. But, yeah, I just think Andrew Luck's having a heck of a season, and I think the Colts could be a surprise team in the playoffs because they seem to be – they have that kind of – that X factor they have about them, like what we saw from the Giants in 2011 when they came out as that last seed and went on to win the Super Bowl. They just find a way to win games. It's never pretty. It's never the way you think it's going to go, but it's only the 6th week of the season. But right now, I really like what I'm seeing from the Colts. I know my stepmom and her family will be happy to hear that, all huge Indianapolis Colts fans from the Indianapolis area. So I know the Colts pretty well, better than most teams other than the Packers and the Bears. So, yeah, I mean, I like what I see in Indy. The defense is a little bit questionable. I know they're a little hurt, so if Indy can get healthy at the right time, watch out for the Colts because they can make some noise in the playoffs.
So hold on, let me get this right. Y'all have Andrew Luck as y'all in the second spot right now for MVP?
Probably. It's early, though. It's a little early.
I feel
I
like
don't know. I still think the voters will go with Peyton Manning.
Probably.
I don't know why, but
I just think it's because Peyton Manning
yeah.
is a better team. Like, he's got all those
I
targets.
feel
how
like right
about if
now,
I just put J.J. Watt and Andrew Luck tied at maybe second or third? I don't know who I would throw in that second position right now.
right now I put Aaron Rodgers at 2, and then I put Phillip Rivers at 3, and then I put Andrew Luck at 4. That's what I do.
I forgot about Phillip. Okay, I'm going to go Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, then I'm going to go Andrew Luck and J.J. Watt tied. I want to see.
I still got Watt at 1.
Yeah, I got Watt at 1. I really put Aaron Rodgers at 2. And the reason he might be that high to me is because that's what I really thought coming in was probably going to take MVP. And, I mean, besides the first 2 weeks when nothing was really going on. But since then, he's played well. I mean, he's been killing it, and I think he's just going to continue to improve with that overall.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers has been playing good ball. And behind Luck, I'll probably have Russell Wilson right there because, like you said, last year, this defense won that Super Bowl. But this year, Wilson, in 2 of the games, the last 2 games they played, he's led them on those drives
Marshawn
for
Lynch has
victory.
had a very good year as well.
Yeah, but I mean, Russell Wilson, he's really proven that. I mean, this man can play in his league. Like he's getting a little bit past game manager. He's having to lead some game-winning drives this year. He's really performing.
But the first thing that came out of people's mouths last week is 122 yards way too much for him to be running the ball.
Yeah,
because the first thing that came to their mind was, what happens if an RG3 incident happens and he tears an ACL or gets seriously injured? Who's there? I don't even know who their backup quarterback
I think
is.
it's Tavares Jackson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's Tavares Jackson.
So I want he just had a great game, and now you're gonna pick why he shouldn't run for 122 yards.
Yeah.
He did effectively. He's at least smart. He knows how to slide.
Exactly.
He knows how to get out.
slide.
He's very, very well at it.
He knows
He's
how to
like I see a lot of Andrew Luck.
Yeah,
He runs
he's
the ball,
similar.
but he knows how to slide. He knows how to get out. He does. I mean, if he's going to the pylon, yeah, he's going to give up his body to get that pylon. But besides that, he's going to watch himself
Yeah.
at all times. And I'm starting to become more of a Russell Wilson fan. Didn't think I would in the beginning.
He seems like a good guy too.
Yeah.
It seems as
Because
far
I
as we
wanted Matt Flynn to have a shot up in Seattle.
Yeah.
He's been the backup forever for Aaron Rodgers. He came in and was good, and Matt Flynn's has not had the best of luck. And I just wanted him to be above Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson slowly changed my mind. Am I going to cheer for Seattle? No, they're up in the Northwest. Just have fun up there. Maybe if you go to the Super Bowl, I'll pick you. But, I'm going to cheer against you. What? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
I don't know. I was just thinking about which one of us out of everybody on C4 Sports got the Super Bowl right last year. But that's minor details. That don't have nothing to do with this
You
year.
have a 50-50 chance of that.
And
It's not like you called it.
but three of y'all got that 50% wrong.
Come talk to me when you
Hey, hold
call
on.
it
I
in
think
the
I did
preseason.
call it in the preseason.
I don't think so.
I think I did.
You have to go review the tape.
Yeah, I'll review the tape.
review
All right.
the
I
tape.
think I did have Seattle in the Super Bowl winning the Super Bowl in the preseason. I think I did. I can't quote that for sure, but I think I did.
Yeah, you have to review the tape.
Yeah, but still, it's 50-50 shot, but I was the only one to get that 50 right. So still, ha he. And I gotta laugh at my at the things I win because clearly I'm not winning this competition that's happening this year. So I gotta go back to last year because this year something's going wrong right now. I don't know what's going on.
All right, Ryan. Let's see what else we got for this week.
Do we just want to go straight to the games or a news that you've seen so far for the first?
Well, I know you got something about Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson. Yeah, I forgot about that. He got. I want to say he got rearrested, but he declared. He said something to a reporter. I don't know how it got leaked. That supposedly he smoked weed before his first court date, and on his, but I don't know how, but his bond says that you cannot go through so many activities. One of them is have a positive drug test. So since he declared that he had it, they hadn't tested him. So I'm guessing they probably tested him pretty quick after him saying this, that they're going to try to get his bond release, and he might be spending time in jail before it comes time for his trial in December. So and we were talking about this earlier, and we're going to put it on the air. Out of uniforms, this guy looks goofy, and he looks like
That's all I gotta say. He's just a weird dude.
He's a weird dude, and you know what? Looking at him goes like, I'm not surprised that this stuff is happening to you because I can see it now. I don't know why, but he just looks goofy.
I mean, I don't know the man personally. I don't have the same social circles as our boy the Hawk over here. But I mean, Adrian Peterson, from what we've seen, he's a weird dude. That's what it seems like.
And then did you hear about? We heard about using charity money to pay for
I think I saw that.
like a threesome or a foursome.
Which,
I was going like, let's just keep on compounding this to your troubles because guess what? That's going to come up in court, so it's going to give bad character to you.
Yeah.
He went ahead and said that whole charity thing was not true and nothing like that. But I mean, I didn't really read too much into detail about that or this drug thing, but I just read it now. He said he told the drug tester that he smoked weed before taking the urine test, because I guess he said since he smoked, he already knew he was going to fail, so he just told the drug tester that. Which, I mean, okay, dude, but, well, I don't know if he knew the drug test was happening that day. But I guess Adrian Peterson sitting at home like, shoot, I'm making $11 million this year. I can't play football, so I ain't got nothing else to do. So I guess he said I'm just going to sit on my couch and smoke weed. He ain't got nothing else going on. I don't know. I don't condone, of course, smoking weed and nothing like that. But, I mean, what else is the dude supposed to do? I mean, he's still getting paid from his job that he can't work. It's not like he's going to go find another job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what is he supposed to do the whole time? Play Madden?
Get rid of his paycheck to make him go find a job.
Well, we know that they're not going to do that. So, I mean, since he's already going to make $11 million this year.
That'd be nice.
I
wish. I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean.
And this is the same guy who, during the lockout, said that the players were treated like slaves.
Which, I mean, that's a whole different thing. They probably were. I mean, every lockout.
You're making $11 million. I don't think that's a fair
because
comparison.
every lockout players are treated like slaves because you got all the public likes siding with the owners, which makes no sense. Why are you siding with owners when you don't even watch the games to see what the owners are doing in the first place? Then the owners don't want to pay the NBA. This ain't even got nothing to do with NBA, and I just brought that up because there's other stuff going on.
I think that's a different situation. I think both sides have their points. I just think it's completely unfair to compare yourself to a slave.
Well, yeah, because you are still getting paid. Right.
You're
right. Yeah, they are still getting paid.
But yeah, the NBA is a whole different. Normally, I am with the owners because I think the players can be spoiled little brats. But in the NBA's circumstance, that's a little different. But obviously, that's a different conversation for a different time. And we do have a tweet. We have a baseball tweet from Sheridan. And Sheridan, thank you for the tweet. We will get to that coming up in our baseball segment right after this pro football one. And it actually, her tweet is kind of the perfect segue because, I mean, it's one of the two talking points that we have. So thank you for that. Stick with us in about, I'd say, 10, maybe 15 minutes when we're done with this NFL segment.
Yeah.
We got we only have one baseball man in the house, Mr. Ryan Mason. This will be
maybe
your
Matt
segment.
can chime in.
I watched a little bit.
I'm gonna say I'll give a pick, but I mean
you'll give a pick. Okay.
Yeah, I'll give a pick.
I know what's going on. I paid attention. I haven't watched any of the games, but I've seen everything on Sports. And I've watched all the talk, and I want to hear your opinion. Though the thing I would ask, my tweet for you would be about.
I don't want to hear it. Just surprise me.
All right, fine.
Surprise me.
Okay. I respect that.
Surprise me.
All right, because I've been waiting to ask you this.
Surprise me like we're on a real talk show and don't give me behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
So
I like that.
That's
what I like.
So I could be like Tony Kornheiser, like, let me get out the stats right here. No, let's not do that. So let's go straight to picks.
Yeah, all right.
Gonna look at some good games. First one coming off is probably the one that, if there's still students here in Macomb, because I haven't left my apartment at all today. Chicago Bears at Atlanta Falcons. Bears are struggling right now.
Yeah.
Defense and offense. I say a little bit more offense than defense. Let's see if I can bring up the line.
I'm mad at the Bears.
Yeah, because you've been picking them like crazy.
With them. This is my year. I got over it my entire life. Growing up a Packers fan in Chicago, I got so much crap. I hated the Bears with a passion. Like, people like, oh, I hate the Packers. All my friends, I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Not the way I hate the Bears. Okay. And I've gotten over that. This summer, I was talking to my dad. I was talking to my brother, too, the biggest Bears fans I know. I'm over it. I will cheer for the Bears as long as it does not hurt the Packers in any way. I'll be happy for my friends and family and the city that I love, that is Chicago. So I've been over the Bears hate. I'm like, all right, go Bears. 2 thumbs up for the Bears. And then I picked them to win the NFC North. I have just gotten rid of all the Bears demons in my heart, and they make me look stupid.
And you have just answered why we are being punished, because I picked them to win the NFC North too. You just answered why we're being punished by their performance. Because you, instead of just picking them, which is fine, you're going to go ahead and root for them.
I'm not necessarily rooting for them.
You say you're rooting for them.
I don't go against them. I'll be happy for them. There's a difference.
That's the problem. You can't be happy for your rivals at any time.
I'm not happy. I'm happy for my friends and family in the city.
Sometimes everybody has to be sad in life. This should be one of those times. See, now I understand why the Bears keep losing. See, Matt should have told me this beforehand, and I would have knew.
I did. I told you this. I did tell you this.
No, well, you did, but you didn't have to say it on the radio. Right. We're trying to help me out.
Well, I mean, you can have a lot of things that says what's going on with the Bears. First of all, Jay Cutler has thrown more than 30 passes than the closest person. Well, almost 30. Philip Rivers has thrown 165 passes. But here's the stat that just surprises me the most, and we brought this up 2 weeks ago. Matt Forte, 319 yards, no touchdowns. What is going on? I mean, you need to run the ball. We're talking about that with
He hasn't
Western.
been the same player since he got
Yeah.
that contract a few years
Yeah.
ago.
Well,
So, I have
Well.
I have Atlanta winning, and it's not because I think Atlanta's better. Last week I said I picked Carolina. I don't know. I didn't have a good reason why. I just had that feeling Carolina's going to get turn it around, and I have the same. It's almost the same thing. I have Atlanta winning because I just don't know what's going on with the Bears at all. Forte, give me 100 yards and a touchdown this week, and maybe I might change my mind. But that running game, they need to take a playbook from the Cowboys. And I could not believe I'm saying that.
that's right. Now we
Start
are now the
running-
standards of the NFL top dog.
running the ball. If DeMarco Murray can do what he's doing, I think I'm not saying Matt Forte's up there with DeMarco Murray right now, but he has all the ability to pound your way through for at least 100 yards, and that's embarrassing. 319 yards, that's 50 yards. Well, 50 yards per game.
Yeah.
That is not good for your only running back. I think that's right. That's the only running back they really have.
Primarily, yeah.
Because they got rid of they have no fullback.
Yeah. Well, it's because I think that's my thing, is why I think you see Forte struggling, is now you have, like, Bennett, Jeffries, Marshall, and, like, the best passing game probably in the NFL with Jay Cutler, and they're just getting away from the running game, I think, is they're focusing too much on the pass, and it's kind of a problem we've seen from the Packers in the past with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, is until they got Eddie Lacy, who's struggling this year, that's a whole another story, but until he came around last year, they really didn't have a running game. That's why they have struggled since they won the Super Bowl, because everybody knows what you're going to get from the Packers, and I think that's what is happening in Chicago right now, is everybody can defend against the pass, and you don't have that running game to keep you honest. It goes back to what we said earlier about Western football, is if you establish the running game, that can keep a defense honest, and that opens up play-action passing and so on and so forth. They stack the box, less defensive backs, and we don't see that from Chicago. It's just airing it out all the time with Jay Cutler, like you said, throwing the most passes in the NFL, and Matt Forte doesn't have a fair chance to show us what he can do. And even if he does, we don't know what we're going to get from him, because I'd still expect a little bit more out of Forte. His chances and carries are down from past years, but I don't know. I mean, I know he's getting up there in age. He's not old by any means, but he's not a young guy anymore. His body has taken a beating. He got the contract that he wanted a few years ago from the Bears. And he just hasn't quite looked the same player since then. And I don't know, I've always been kind of a Matt Forte fan. I like the guy, I respect him. I've always thought he was a bit underrated. But I don't know, the production's just not there from them. I think that's really hurting the Bears offensively. It's putting a lot more pressure on Jay Cutler, who has, in especially crunch time moments, struggled to hold on to the ball this year, and it's costing the Bears. Because from everything I saw last week, the Bears should have won that game. I turned it off about 6-7 minutes left with the Bears up, I think 24-20, and I find out they lose, and Jay Cutler threw 2 bad interceptions in the fourth quarter. Excuse me. I did see that on SportsCenter, and that's just kind of when I was like, this is the team I picked to win the NFC North. I had them in the NFC Championship game. Granted, I had Seattle stopping them in the NFC Championship game, but nonetheless, I had them going all the way there in the playoffs. And right now, once again, it's only week 6, plenty of football, but I don't think they make the playoffs with the Packers and Lions in their own division, because those teams are both better than them right now, especially the Packers stomping them in Chicago.
And I'm surprised you're saying that
Yeah.
Detroit's better than right now.
Right now,
I say there.
I don't like Detroit, but I would take them over the Bears right now.
Okay.
Just at this moment, like I said, it's early. It's only week 6, but at this
Okay.
moment, I would take the Lions over the Bears from what I have seen, and I followed the Bears very closely this year.
Well, I have the Bears winning this game, but I mean that's just because I don't think Atlanta is very good either, and I think they're worse than the Bears, so I just had them winning this. But I mean, as always, I enjoyed the Bears' demise, even though I picked them to win the division. So anytime they lose, I can have fun, and it really just comes down to this: Jay Cutler has been a bum. He's going to continue to be a bum. He's been worse than Tony Romo. He's going to stay worse than Tony Romo, and that's just really all that matters to me. And so, he sucks. He's going to continue to suck. He's going to continue to keep throwing to the other team as if those are also his receivers. I mean, so, hey, have fun with that.
I mean, I obviously wasn't here last week, so I didn't get to give my thoughts on that Packers-Bears game. But the first one, it was a little unlucky, the one that bounced right to Clay Matthews. But the second pick he threw, there's not a Bears player on the screen there. He threw it straight to, I think it was Tramon Williams maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was miscommunication with Marshall. Marshall ran a stop and go, and he threw the stop. But when the camera follows the ball to pan over, it's 5 Packers on the screen. There's not one Bears player, and it's kind of like, what are you doing, dude?
See, that's because he tries to take advantage of having those 2 big receivers out there. And so he just tries to launch it in the air, which is stupid. I mean, you still have to be smart. Just because you got 2 big receivers doesn't mean anything. But
Yeah.
I just like laughing at all these Bears fans that was talking all this crap to me beforehand. And now they tell me to be quiet when I see them. And I'm like, I don't even say anything. I just don't be upset with me just because it seems like every Monday I have some type of Cowboys gear on. That's not my problem.
Right now.
Right. I mean, I have
Cowboys.
Cowboys gear on. I mean, minor details. I mean, we won 4 straight, but nobody has to talk about it. It's okay. You know, I mean, that doesn't have nothing to do with anything.
I guess you're the only one who's going against us right now, and unless Adam picks him, I haven't gotten his picks. So, Adam, if you're listening on your way back up to, where does he live? I forget.
I think he's up by Rockford.
By Rockford. Please send me your picks. All right, I need them by Sunday, or you're gonna lose points.
That's
Just
right.
go 0 for whatever,
We'll just
lose
say
every
he'll
game.
lose points. That way I can now be in 3rd place. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Then
Okay.
you get an asterisk, though. You at the end of the season, you get an asterisk for your finish,
But-
because
Yeah.
Adam missed a week.
Okay,
of
so
picks.
let's just say hypothetically, right? Let's just say that he doesn't give his picks this week, and then I move to 3rd place. And let's just say I keep moving up, and by the end I get in 1st place. Does that mean that my title doesn't count?
No, it counts, but it will have
Okay.
an asterisk. next
Yeah,
to it.
it
So
would
so
have
now
an
I'm the Spurs in '99.
You might
and you're
not
Phil
be part.
Jackson.
You might not be part of the Hall of Fame. Sorry.
You watch the league at all on FX?
No,
Fantasy Hoop?
no.
Okay, then never mind. You wouldn't get my joke. I'm not even gonna say.
All right. So, second game I'm going to bring up with Carolina Panthers at Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals got exposed last week in New England. I think a little bit, not as much. I think Tom Brady was due to have a backup game after that horrible performance in Kansas City. Carolina's still question mark on the running game. I don't know where they're going to get their running game back. Cincinnati's favored by 6.5 still, and still season leaders, and we showed this last week. Still the same season leaders is Williams for Carolina. Still has the most rushing yards on that team with 106 with 25 carries, and he hasn't played the last 2 games.
Horrible.
So I guess it's just. But AJ Green's not going to be playing this week.
That's bad for me. That's
That's-
my number 1 receiver. in
Yeah,
fantasy.
so I still have Cincinnati winning because I think they have a little bit more weapons than Carolina. I'm going to say probably by a field goal because just with AJ Green, I think that kind of takes some of the passing game away from Dalton. I guess we're going to see how good of a quarterback Andy Dalton is this week. Without AJ Green, because I think AJ Green is that wide receiver that makes catches to help out the stats of the quarterback. So I still think they're going to win, but it's going to be very close. I'm going to go 3-point win for the Bengals.
I'm gonna go with Cincinnati too. Even though Carolina was able to win last week, their defense is nowhere close to nearly as good as they were last year. I still feel like Cam Newton, there's another jump he needs to make to get into the elite quarterbacks, and he hasn't shown me that he's making that move anytime soon. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati. I won't say Cincinnati really, got outshone or got, I forgot what the term was that you used. They got, revealed or something like that last week, but
They got exposed.
exposed, that's what it was. They got exposed. I think New England really just had, there was a prove me game. They had something to prove. All the talk that was coming into that game. And I knew what time it was when on the second play, Tom Brady ran a scrimmage, and then he got up and started yelling in the cornerback's face, whoever it was that tackled him. I knew right then that they were about to kill the Bengals because Tom Brady usually is not talking like that. So I knew once he started running his mouth, which we know I support, okay? So once he started getting in that trash talk zone, he understood that in order to be great, sometimes you have to be like Darius. When in reality, the saying should be in order to be great, you have to all the time be like Darius. But once again, that don't have nothing to do with this. Okay, we don't want to go too far, but yeah, I'm just gonna go with Cincinnati.
All right. I like that. That's pretty Twitter worthy right there.
Yeah.
What would Darius do?
Yeah, what would Darius do?
Let's start passing around wristbands, c4sports.com. It doesn't exist
Yeah, we
yet,
need to get some
so don't put
C4
that. Yeah,
Sports
we do.
apparel or something.
Yeah, we do.
That costs money.
That's the only problem.
Yeah.
Like in order for us to get apparel, I also want to be somebody who can give it to us for free.
Yeah.
And so
I think I'm the only one that has a job, so I'd have to front the money.
There's also
And I just
that.
don't think I get I don't think I'd get the investment back.
Probably
I'm
not.
You know.
And I mean, shoot, I just finally got my first two 88.3 The Dog shirts like last week. So I mean, I'm clearly behind in the apparel game right now. So.
You just gotta have the connections like Matt does.
Yeah.
Well, I got my own connections, but I can't talk about those on the radio because sometimes, high connections live in low places. You gotta just remember that. That's also
God.
Twitter worthy.
Okay.
You're teaching us again. What
I
was it?
am.
Last year
Yeah.
was the vocabulary. This year it's
Vocabulary,
how you handle yourself.
I mean, we always got statements, of knowledge. It's just quick snippets that we throw in there, You don't want to have a whole speech because then people tune you out. You just throw something quick, and it's like,
And
that's
what
nice.
sticks.
Yeah, it
All
sticks.
right. So do we want to talk about Green Bay?
Hold on, who did you pick for this game?
For what?
The Cincinnati and Carolina.
Oh, I picked Cincinnati.
Yeah, he
Oh,
picked
okay.
Cincinnati.
Don't try and pull that on.
I
me.
didn't know. I didn't know who you picked.
Do we want to talk? Do we want to talk about Green Bay or head on to another one? Because
We all picked Green Bay.
Yeah, we all
they're,
picked-
they're
yeah.
starting to turn things around.
Yeah.
It's looking better. A-Rod's looking like A-Rod.
I think
finally.
Matt should pick the Dolphins.
No, not a chance,
No,
bro.
no.
Not
Okay.
a chance, bro.
next thing we're going to talk to, and
A for effort.
we're
A for
gonna.
effort.
I'll let Darius take this one after I just give the stats on it. Dallas Cowboys 4-1, headed up to Seattle to the Legion of Boom, the 12th man, CenturyLink Field. And Seattle is actually favored by 8.5 points right now. Darius, take it over for your Cowboys getting destroyed this week.
Whoa, wow. That is not a way to give an intro. Oh,
That's
my
a good
goodness.
segue, good
Well,
segue.
no, it's not. Okay, first of all, we're not going to get destroyed, okay? The game is going to be close, okay? And what usually happens in these type of games is like how we did versus Denver last year. It's going to be
You
close.
were at home.
It doesn't matter. Our home is not really our home, okay?
Not
I mean,
this
if you
year.
listen, ever since we got the new stadium, if you saw this year when we played San Francisco and when we played Houston, we played Houston last week. We had to do a silent count in our own stadium, okay? So clearly our home is not our
More
home.
than once.
Yeah, exactly. Our home is not our home. So this week is gonna be close. Y'all know I hope Dallas wins, but I'm doing reverse psychology like I did versus New Orleans. Hopefully it works again. Richard Sherman is my boy. Y'all know this. I like Seattle. Shout out Marshawn. Shout out Earl Thomas. Shout out Cam Chancellor. Hang out with them over the summer a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But,
You got the Super Bowl tour and
Yeah,
everything.
a little bit. I didn't hang out with Russell Wilson because his haircut ain't really the same way that I'd be trying to mess around. I told him get a real fade, brother. Something's wrong with you. But I mean, we not gonna. That's a little cosmetic type stuff. But I want to see what do we do? How do we respond? We're 4-1, but I haven't been. I like that we're winning, but I'm not too confident because we haven't beat anybody of a high caliber. I feel. DeMarco, nice game last week, but he still fumbled. He has 4 fumbles. We can't turn over the ball versus Seattle. We really can't. Tony Romo has had a good year. Made some plays last week. Definitely had to. He escaped J.J. Watt, who was the best player in the league, and threw a touchdown at Terrence Williams because that's how we do. Okay, Big D Dallas. That's why we 4-1, 4 in a row. I'm just excited. Y'all got a part of me because usually we don't ever win like 3 in a row. So for me to have 4 in a row, I kind of feel like it's not
Do
real.
you think it keeps up? What if this is the game that turns everything around? where
It
they
might.
lose
If
to
we win
Seattle?
this game,
Okay.
then
Well,
y'all.
yeah, if you win, then
If we win this game,
yeah.
y'all should probably not let me on radio next week. like give me like a week off, okay?
You need
'Cause
to calm down.
if we win this game, then that's it.
Who do they play after Seattle? Is it bye week?
It might be a bye. I'm not really sure. All I know is
I have it. Hold on. I have it right here. I'll press it.
all I know is this is it. We're gonna throw the Richard Sherman's way. I know this because Jerry Jones said we're gonna do it, and we follow Jerry with
Yeah.
everything, even when it's not smart. So we're gonna throw Richard Sherman's way, and we're gonna test him out. And so that means about Saturday night, I'm gonna call him. Okay, I'm gonna call him like 4 times. I'm gonna call him at 11 p.m., 12, 1, and 2. And hopefully that way it messes up his sleeping pattern, so he'll get beat once, and then that's like the game-winning touchdown. So I already got a strategy in my head.
Okay. So
But Seattle, I got Seattle winning because I know that's who y'all gonna pick too.
Oh, that's
Okay,
why. That's
yeah,
why.
because
That's
if
why.
y'all pick Dallas and we win, then I'm gonna be upset that I didn't pick them, and then upset that one of y'all moved even further away from me. So I'm Seattle just because I'm hanging with y'all, but Dallas, let's get this win.
okay. Next week you come back home for 3 straight weeks and play New York, Washington, and Arizona. So you got a tough stretch right now. Maybe except for that Washington game.
And besides, New York, they're garbage.
Oh,
Eli Manning don't want nothing to do with us.
Oh, okay.
Eli Manning don't want. Come see me, Eli. Come see me. He don't want nothing to do with us.
Okay.
The Giants,
So,
man, please. The
All right,
Giants.
so since you're
New York
all high,
Giants.
I still think
We'll be having a tougher game versus the San Francisco Giants
Yeah.
than the New York Giants. They don't want to see us on the field.
I think
Also, he's a part of the team.
yeah.
This is what I can do when we're 4
I feel like we have
okay?
Richard Sherman in studio right
When we're
now.
1-4, then it's them. When it's 4-1, it's us. Okay, notice the difference
Okay,
there.
I got you.
All right.
Okay.
I understand.
So I have Seattle winning, but for different reasons. Is because you guys haven't beat anybody.
That's very true.
New Orleans is not the New Orleans we know, and you
Yeah,
played them at
that's
home.
shocking.
So I mean, that's a little bit different. And you guys, and Dallas almost lost to Houston, and Houston's mediocre. But if it wasn't for Romo getting away from J.J. Watt and being destroyed right there on that attempted sack, then probably you're 3-2 then. So and you're going up. You're on the road. Seattle doesn't lose at home. Just ask Peyton Manning because he had to have one heck of a game just to force it to overtime. And I'm gonna say Dallas loses by 10. And don't pick on me, Darius. I think just Dallas's luck just runs out this week.
Yeah, I think I got Seattle by 8 in this one.
Okay. Yeah. Y'all was talking like, well, Brian, you were saying destroyed. I thought it was
Destroyed.
Yeah,
Well,
10.
I'm gonna say 10
yeah,
points.
That's not bad. I mean, I can live with that. Because if it's 10, then that means we did something right, and we probably just didn't execute at the end, which is how
Well,
I
I
see
think
this
too.
going.
We're talking MVP. I think DeMarco Murray could be up there, the NFL's leading rusher right now. Yes, he does have turnovers, but
I think that's what's going to prevent
Yeah.
him.
Oh, I don't think he's going to
Yeah.
win it, but I think he's in the conversation.
I don't want to give him too much love because I feel like somebody, if he hears it, then something's just gonna go wrong. So I'm trying to pretend like I can say we're good, but I don't want nobody else to say it. I want them to still think we suck. All the Cowboys in the locker room, don't pretend y'all good yet, because we're not good. We still are garbage until we make the playoffs. Until we like lock up a spot, I'm not convinced.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can
So
understand
even okay, let's go on. Did you talk about the game? Yeah, you
that.
did.
That's all I had to say.
Yeah.
I mean, Darius. When it comes to the Cowboys, Darius basically says
Yeah,
everything.
he says
that
it
there
all.
can be
We
said.
just think it's like, all right, we're gonna pick with him or
We're going with them or against them.
yeah,
One of the two.
because like, and then we have to.
We're
hear from
either
him again.
hashtag Team Hawk or we're hashtag Beat the Hawk.
Yeah. I guess another game I'd like to talk to because even though he said they were just garbage a couple minutes ago, New York Giants at Philadelphia Eagles. I think that's going to be a good game because it's conference game. Second of all, Philadelphia didn't look too good towards the end last week against St. Louis, and Eli's starting to look like the Eli of old.
Or at least of those two Super Bowls.
Of those two Super Bowls.
I was about to say,
yeah.
what is the Eli of old? Mediocre Eli?
Yeah.
Because the regular one is bum Eli. At his best, he's mediocre. So.
But he's winning.
But who,
I mean-
we talk about Dallas ain't beat nobody. Who had the Eagles? I mean, who had the Giants beat? The
Okay.
Texans, the Redskins, and the Falcons.
Yeah, that's true. Eli has looked good. I'll give him credit. I am a big Eli basher. My famous saying is the biggest mystery in sports is how Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowl rings. Not just 1. That's already a mystery in itself, but 2. Like, wow. I still, to this day, do not understand how that happened. But he has looked good. This is the best I've seen him look probably in a regular season ever. Maybe since they made that run in 2011 at the last couple games. But he's had some really nice passes. He's dropped a couple dimes. He's having a great year for Eli Manning at least. But still, haven't beat a top team in the NFL yet.
And I think this is the week. I still have Philadelphia winning because I think they're the better team.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, for me, I got Philly by 2 or 3 points.
Yeah, Philly's only favored by 2.5 points. I'm going to say field goal,
Yeah.
maybe a touchdown. I think a touchdown loss to them would be very good for Eli. If Eli has a good game, if he has 3 interceptions and that's the reason why they lose, then yeah, he's taking a step back. But if I say he has a positive game, I mean, I'll give him 1 interception. The defense of Philly's not bad.
Mhm.
So I'm going to say 7 points. They're going to lose by 7. I think Eli's going to have a good game. I'm not going to make a prediction that he's going to go out there and have a great game like I tried to do with Alex Smith last week.
Yeah.
So
Man, I just realized I have not picked the Giants to win once this whole season. And it's going to continue that way this week because I'm not picking them. Philly, I can't stand y'all either, but y'all go ahead and win this game. Push, the Giants a little bit further back because I did pick them to go last place in the division, and clearly that's going to be the Redskins now. But still, I'm not messing with Eli Manning. That's probably a team we talked about. Matt, we talked about how we're probably never going to pick against Seattle. I don't think I'm ever. Okay, maybe no. When they play the Jaguars and the Titans, and maybe the Skins again, I pick the Giants. But besides that, I'm not messing with
Yeah.
them. Not at all.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. I don't know. I have to wait we'll see. The Giants still have not proved anything to me, and Eli Manning is still your quarterback. And I don't mess with Eli Manning. I really don't. So that's why I don't think I've picked the Giants once this year. I too am picking against them. Like I said, I got the Eagles by 2, maybe 3 points. So yeah, we'll see. This should be interesting. Talk about a roller coaster ride, though. That is the Philadelphia Eagles this year. Just wow. You'll see 2 different teams in a game. The first half and the second half are 2 different Eagles teams. Chip Kelly has come under fire by his own players.
I would say just player.
Yeah, well, they've had anonymous guys come out and say some similar stuff too. But there was that one guy who I don't remember
They're
who it
just
was.
scared.
Kerry Williams.
Yeah, who said he pushes them too hard.
How long is it gonna take for LaShawn McCoy to have a good
Yeah.
game? That's what I'm waiting on.
Oh, what's McCoy's stat? McCoy has less. Well, at least he has a touchdown run, but he has 273 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Forte's a little bit better than that if you don't count no touchdowns.
And I believe he came into this year talking about he was gonna rush for 2,000 yards.
Yeah, I think he said so. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, you would think. Do you think it's because they don't have Sproles there?
No, they do have. They have Sproles.
yeah, they have Sproles. Sproles
Yes.
came from New Orleans to
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
And
is
Sproles,
having a
right?
really
He's
good
been
year.
playing good.
Yeah.
Okay, is it because of him then?
I
Because they're going to him?
actually think it's the fast offense because I think the offensive linemen probably get tired. I feel like that's the only thing I can really see. I haven't seen the Eagles really play besides when they played the 49ers, but I don't understand because LaShawn McCoy, it's not like he had like one great year like how Larry Johnson had that a few years back, but he just came out of nowhere. LaShawn McCoy has had good years for a while now,
Yeah.
and just out of nowhere he's not playing too well. So I don't really know what's the cause of it.
I mean, maybe he gets back a little bit, but yeah, maybe it is that that fast pace.
Yeah. That's the only thing I could guess. I'm not sure.
Because they're short on offensive line anyway.
Yeah, they are. They are.
So that, I mean, they're even more tired. So it makes sense why LaShawn McCoy's not doing so well. Maybe I'll bench him this week finally in fantasy. So I think that's all the games I have.
All right.
For this, maybe we can take our first break.
Yep. Yeah, you segued into that for me.
Yeah.
Because I think on the other side of this, we're gonna get to the tweet. We're gonna get to some playoff baseball. It's been interesting, to say the least.
That's right, Sheridan. Please still be listening, please.
Yeah.
We I know we had to get to football, but we're gonna get to your tweet as soon as we come back.
All right. So yeah.
And hopefully I make you happy instead of sad, or please don't yell at me on Twitter. I don't want to have a Twitter war, please.
Okay, well you can go on my Twitter and yell at Ryan for him, and then I will tell him on the air, and then you can laugh about it. Okay, that's what we can do.
All right, so we're taking our first break here on C4 Sports. We'll be right back after this. You are listening to the best in sports talk right here on 88.3 The Dog.
Okay, so she said.
Welcome back to C4 Sports right here on 88.3 The Dog. My name is Matt with Darius and Ryan. This is Ryan's time to shine right here because we got baseball talk. Luckily, Sheridan tweeted us a question, and it is the perfect segue for this segment, and it is, who do we think is going to win the NLCS and why? Mr. Ryan Mason, go ahead and take this one away. I know me and Darius can chime in. I've been paying attention. I've not watched the games. I'm not a baseball fan, but I've been paying attention. I know basically what's going on. I've watched the highlights. I messed that up on Sports Center, and I've seen the analysis talk about it. But first, you're our baseball man. Adam is not here, so let's hear your opinion.
Kind of miss Adam right now.
Yeah.
You hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
making sure. It's been exciting. The AL series went completely different than I thought it was going to. I had an all LA World Series. I
Yeah,
thought
you
those
did.
two the pitching and the hitting, I thought were just going to be good for both teams. But I still cheer for upsets here and there. But to see Baltimore versus Kansas City, I'm going to roll. Even though you didn't ask this, I'm going to roll with Baltimore. Because I've liked Baltimore coming out of the East. You get away from the talk of the Yankees and Red Sox, and I've always liked Baltimore. I like the stadium. That doesn't mean that's why I like them. I like their pitching. They've gotten pitching from teams that used to play the Cardinals. Bud Norris has actually had a good year. You guys have no idea who I'm talking about right now, but maybe Sheridan does. But for your question, I'm a diehard Cardinals fan. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. And the reason why is they got through the Dodgers. And going through the Dodgers was probably their most difficult task of the postseason. And with that being said, I have them going in 6. I think they do have to come back to St. Louis and win Game 6 to go to their second straight World Series. The reason why is their pitching has been great besides Adam Wainwright. Their offense is coming around in key spots. And then lastly, San Francisco has gotten lucky against Washington. You go 18 innings and you went on a home run. You couldn't do anything within 18 innings to win, from inning 9 to 18 to win it. A fluke play wins you here and there, and their offense just looks anemic. Thank goodness they had pitching to help them out, but Washington's bats really didn't come alive. I mean, their top hitters, if I heard a stat from Tony Kornheiser, who was their main guy who cheers for him, said that they were 4-45 with players that came in around and hit, and was the reason why they won the East. So there's a lot of things I could say that why I would pick the Cardinals. They have home field advantage. But I think the big thing is that the offense and the pitching is going to be a little bit better than San Francisco. But I'm still scared. San Francisco won the World Series in 2010, 2012. Now it's 2014. And people are going with San Francisco right now just because of that fact. But I'm going to say go away from that. Cardinals didn't have home field when they played them in 2012. It's a rematch. I'm ready for the series. I'm glad I have Saturday, Sunday off so I can watch the first 2 games. But I hope that answers your question.
Mm-hmm.
That they, the reasons why they win. I think it's going to be a competitive game. I don't think you're going to see any high-scoring games. I think you're going to see a little bit of home runs to win it maybe, and then great pitching comes back and saves you. So that's what I have for you guys.
I think for me, I'm going Cardinals. I don't need to know anything about baseball, but the Cardinals are just that team that just always wins in the playoffs. I don't know why. I don't really know how, but that's why I'm picking the Cardinals to answer Sheridan's question coming out of the NLCS. I mean, yeah, just every single year the Cardinals.
You're looking at the top 2 teams that have won since. I think the Cardinals have 30 wins, and the Giants have 26 out of the. Trying to think of since, I think 2010, something like that. They've had the most wins. So you're looking at the top 2, and I guess you're looking at the haters side. The NLCS is going to be for the people that know baseball, all that stuff. The ALCS is going to be for those that are going to cheer for the upset to beat the NL team, because the San Francisco and the Cardinals are the 2 teams that are like the Yankees and Red Sox right now left in the playoffs, because they're always there, and you can't blame. We're even though we have a great fan base, we're not a small market. We're in the middle of America.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Chicago has a bigger, and they haven't done anything, and it's not the West Coast or East Coast, but the Cardinals are still there. And we'll always say, St. Louis will be a baseball town. It will not be anything else.
Yeah.
Hockey might come up to clutch on the jacket, but it will never come close to
I can tell you,
for St.
yeah, when we were in Game 5, Blackhawks and Blues, 40% of that Scott Trade Center was Hawks fans. And there was a Cardinals game the same night, and I think more people were focused on the Cardinals.
It's the same thing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cardinals start at
and
7.
That was a playoff Blues game.
Yep.
Pivotal Game 5. It was a great game. The Taves overtime game winner. And I think on TV, that game was on Fox Sports Midwest 2, and the Cardinals were on 1. And it's a regular season May baseball game.
Yep. And it'll show you that it will always be a baseball town. So, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
I hope you're not upset that I picked the Cardinals, Sheridan.
I don't mind the Cardinals.
What about you, Darius? You got?
Well, I'm just gonna make it a C4 Sports unanimous. You know.
Please don't. Could you just please pick San Francisco? Because if you pick them, the Cardinals are gonna lose.
First of all, hold on. See. Well, not forget this topic. Okay, And the big things that we had picked, once again, let's just bring up the Super Bowl. I feel like I've been the accurate one, okay?
You got one. That's one thing.
Okay, what else have we picked? Okay, I picked the Spurs to win the title. That's 2.
I picked that,
well,
too.
you did,
Yeah.
but 2 is bigger than 1. Okay,
Okay.
and I picked them to beat the Heat in 5 or 6 games, and I said LeBron had to average 38 or more to win that. And he only had more than like 38 in one game or something like that, and it was the game they won. Okay, so every big thing that I picked has been successful.
So that's why you think the Cardinals are going to win because you're picking them.
Well, no, but I just had to bring this up because Ryan said if I pick them, then they're gonna lose, as if I haven't been successful in my big picks. Okay, I'm picking the Cardinals for one, as you said, Matt. They are constantly continuing to win in baseball. Number 2, and more importantly, my dad is a Cardinals fan, and so
Thank you, Papa Hawk.
exactly.
Thank you.
So one thing I do is if I don't have a dog in the fight, I go with loyalty to people that I mess with. Okay, so I'm gonna go with my dad's squad, and also you mentioned, Ryan, how the Giants have continued to win in even years. 10, 12. Well, in basketball, the Spurs are doing the same thing, but then in 2013 they lost in the finals, and that was an odd year when usually they win in odd years. So in that same type of thing, I'm just gonna convince myself that it all relates. And the Giants now not even gonna get to the World Series in an even year. Look at that knowledge, even when they don't relate. That's what we do out here.
I like that.
And Sheridan likes it too. Look at that.
Okay, I don't know how I can go off that. Just looking over the past even 10 years, what was it? 04 World Series Cardinals. They win the NL in 04, lose to Boston.
Yep.
So they win the NL in 04, win the World Series in 06.
They go to the NLCS in 05.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking for
Yeah.
them making the World Series, winning a pennant. They win
Yeah.
NL in 04, win the World Series in 06. Who did Boston beat in 07?
Rockies.
Okay, so
Because that was my last year
Yeah.
watching baseball.
Okay, that's just the one thing I couldn't remember. So they
Yeah.
win the NL pennant in 04. They win the World Series in 06. Then what was it?
Win it in 11.
Yeah, they win the World Series in 2011, and then they win the NL pennant last year. That's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
And
Being
they
a Chicago
in
fan.
2012 they went to the LCS. This is their 4th
Yeah.
straight year going to the LCS. So all we do is win, I guess. All we do is win. So I'm not sounding cocky right now because I know how thorn in the side San Francisco can beat this series. So
And they have, isn't Buster Posey having an MVP caliber year? Because I know there was some talk about him a few months ago in the MVP race.
yeah, but then Kershaw just started.
Well, I mean,
dominating,
Kershaw's going to win it, but I'm just saying. for the
Which
sake
he
of
shouldn't.
argument.
He shouldn't win MVP.
Why
Pitchers
not?
should not win MVP. They have their own award for that. That's the sign.
Yeah,
He shouldn't
but
win.
if there's nobody in the NL to take away from offensive, then yeah, I would give it to the pitcher. I think he's going to win both. Would maybe not like that, but yeah.
Yeah, well, baseball has already decided it doesn't care what I like anyway.
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
it's
I
like-
agree with that.
Yeah.
Baseball
All
is
right.
its own little thing.
Matt, what was your question for me?
My question for you is the Dodgers and the Cardinal series. Was it the right decision for the Dodgers to bench Puig in that last game? Because watching SportsCenter, I've heard everybody's one side or the other. They said, yeah, it was a great decision. He was struggling. He needed to get somebody who's playing well in there. Or the other people say, no, that's crazy. It doesn't matter if he's struggling. He's a great talent, and he's the guy who can decide a game, with one swing of his bat. There's not many players that can do that. So what did you think about them benching Puig for that last game? Then they bring him on to be like a pinch runner, and he's not a
No,
terrific
yeah, they
base
brought him as
runner.
a pinch runner, not a
Yeah.
pinch hitter. That surprised me. I thought he was going to get an at bat. The person he switched him with was Andre Ethier, and I don't think he really played unless it was a pinch hit here and there, maybe a pinch hit. I understood why the Dodgers did that.
Yeah.
7 straight strikeouts,
Yeah.
and they looked horrible strikeouts. Like he wasn't even close to even hitting the ball. But then when that eighth at bat in a row comes up, he hits a triple, and he scores and makes the game closer. And made me nervous watching that game live at Busch Stadium. I was getting real nervous, and as Cardinal fans, we don't like Puig. But I think it was, if I had to take everything and put it together, I think it was the right decision. But not to use him in the late innings to hit was completely wrong. Maybe that sitting down maybe did something. You can't bring him in just as a pinch runner.
Yeah.
Have him bat. Even though if he does strike out, he gives you a better chance than most of your batters on the bench. So Yeah, I would say that Mattingly did the right thing.
Okay.
And I don't know. I haven't heard that at all this week. I haven't really paid much attention. I've been watching Fox Sports.
Yeah,
Midwest.
well, because ESPN's out in LA now, so they have the whole love affair, especially with the Dodgers, who seemed, I guess, from everything I saw, was the best team in, I guess, the regular season for baseball, them and the Angels. And of course, what went wrong? That's all SportsCenter was talking about early in the week, and the whole focus.
And that's
for a while
you
was
know
on
what? That's
Puig.
what upsets me is that the East Coast and West Coast is what they did
That's
wrong.
where SportsCenter is.
Yeah, that's where SportsCenter is.
They're in
Because,
LA
like,
and Connecticut.
but guess what? How about you talk about what the Cardinals did right?
Yeah.
They beat Kershaw twice. No other team can say
Yeah.
that here, and two times this year, beat him twice last year in the playoffs. So he's 0-4 in the last 2 seasons in playoffs, and the Cardinals did that. What about what? That's why I'm hoping. I know I'm picking Baltimore out of the ALCS, but you know what? If Kansas City won and the Cardinals won, you know what? It would make me happy because guess what?
Missouri.
The East Coast and the West Coast would have to say, hey, guess what? We have to talk about Midwesterners right now. Maybe would step
Well,
it
they're
up.
both in. That would be 2 Missouri teams in the.
Be a nice 70
World
series. Take the bus there and take the bus back.
Huh.
Good old days. I don't think they would still do that. But yeah, that's what upsets me is that it's not what the Cardinals did, or what a team does to beat. Like even with the Yankees or whatever, or it wasn't about what Kansas City did. It was about what didn't Angels do to win.
Yeah.
And I want to see both sides. Yeah, give me that because you know what? I'd like to see those West Coast people
Yeah.
humble and say what they did wrong. But I want to know what teams did
Yeah.
right. So, and I think all sports has that problem.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of Kershaw, do you feel like Kershaw might be the Peyton Manning of baseball? Because he's great during the regular season.
I had seen all
Yeah.
the memes and all that.
And postseason is like it falls apart for him.
Yeah. I think he just had one bad inning that first game, and he had a bad inning that game 4. I don't know. He hasn't been in the playoffs too much to see. Peyton Manning was always in the postseason.
Yeah.
Kershaw, not really. Maybe if they make it back next year, you take a look at it, and maybe hopefully they play a different team. I mean, besides the Cardinals, because Cardinals have their numbers, and I'm not saying that it's just because the Cardinals. I need more than just 2 series to figure it out. But what Wilbon was saying, and I kind of agree with him, is that you're playing better teams when you get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
They had, they had San Diego and Arizona, who were on the bottom teams in the NL, in their division. So they were playing them 12, 13 times. So Kershaw's playing them at least once a series. He probably got 3 wins each, so there were 6 of his wins right there by bottom feeding teams. But when you play an upper team and they know how to win, you're going to see that. I mean, I think Kershaw struggled against the Cardinals in the regular season this year too. So maybe I would have to take a look at the stats of who his wins were against and the losses and all that stuff within the last couple years, especially. And maybe he is. Maybe he beats up on the very poor teams, but he struggles during the good teams. I really can't say that right now. I wish Adam was here because maybe he would have a better stats with that. You guys were bringing up Buster Posey. You know, his stats are actually pretty good. 311,
Yeah, because
22 home runs, 89 RBIs. Pretty good, but
that's what I saw. Is they're saying the offensive MVP from the NL. If it doesn't go to Kershaw, which everybody it seems like there's a 99.9% chance.
Stan would have probably gone if he
Yeah.
didn't get injured, hit in the face. But okay, but I mean the offense has just looked anemic for San Francisco this first series. It might change now since they're in NLCS, but I don't know. I say how you act in the first series is how you're going to act, and it was a struggle all through.
Yeah.
So.
Darius, how much of this will you be watching?
I'm very confident in saying I will be watching absolutely, completely 0% of any baseball that is being played.
You know what?
If you're gonna watch, I'd watch the AL. Well, both series I think are gonna be good because you have powerhouses in the NL, Then you have two teams that have not been to the World Series in the 80s, since the 80s. 83 for Baltimore, 85 for Kansas City. So you're looking, I think it's, and by what the stats are saying, it has great ratings this year. And this is saying with a team not from Boston and not from New York in it.
Well, I'll just let you know that I am open to being bribed by all 4 MLB teams for free fanmanship for the rest of the playoffs. Particularly,
With the jersey?
particularly
The
the,
Stitch jersey?
yes,
Yeah.
particularly the Baltimore Orioles. Y'all can get me with a nice fitted and a nice jersey, preferably the black one with the orange lettering across. It has to be stitched though, okay? I don't want any names in the back. It don't have to be customized. I don't want any names in the back. Leave the back blank because I would just want to wear that out, when I'm at night, styling and profiling, okay?
All right, Ric Flair. Okay,
if the Orioles can go ahead and set me up, then that's just what I'm going to ride with. But I am open to being bribed, and that's the same for hockey, which we're going to talk about later. I'm open to being bribed as well. Y'all send me a free jersey, I'm with y'all the whole season. That's how it works.
For me, I've said this to multiple people, this sums up how I feel about baseball. I have yet to watch a full baseball game. The last time I sat down and watched a full baseball game, start to finish, first pitch to final out, was Game 4 of the 2005 World Series when the White Sox won the World Series. Yet to watch a full game of baseball since then. Oh, well, not counting games I've been at, because I go to multiple White Sox games a year in the summer, but that doesn't count. I'm talking about on TV, because it's a different thing. Baseball, I love going to baseball games. That is a ton of fun. I love going to, whether it's the Cell or anywhere else. I don't think I've really ever been anywhere else other than Wrigley Field when I was a young child, and U.S. Cellular Field. I don't think I've been to any other major league parks, but I love going to see baseball games live. They're fun. You get the best hot dogs you will ever eat, but I can't really watch much baseball on TV. But I do have to say, Ryan, as long as it doesn't conflict with hockey, I think I'm going to watch at least some. I'll tune in for 6, 7 inning of these games. I really want to see. I think if I had to choose one team I'm rolling with, I think it would be the Royals, because I do like the uniforms. I do love the stadium. Me and Darius found out the other day. It's Kauffman Stadium is where they play. And it's a AL Central team. It's one of the White Sox in the same division as the Sox. So I'd like to see them do good. Maybe it make our bad division look a little bit better. And I saw Paul Konerko talking about the Royals, and he said it reminds him a lot of the 05 White Sox. And like you kind of said, a middle America team. Be interesting to see. The first time even in the playoffs since I think '86 maybe that they've even been in the playoffs. So it'd be cool to see them. It'd be cool to see the Royals win it. So if I had to choose, I don't mind the teams. I don't have a problem with any of them. The St. Louis people here annoy me a little bit about the Cardinals, but I mean that's okay. Support your team, do what you do. But if I had to choose one, I'd probably say I'd support the Royals. But I think I'll try and watch some of these games. I can't do the full game. Can't do it. Baseball is just too boring for me to watch the full game. But I mean, I think I'll tune in for 7th inning, 8th inning, especially if it's a close game. I think I'd like to see that. I'm happy the Tigers lost. I was in Detroit last weekend, the Detroit area, when the Tigers lost. They got eliminated. Oh, I was a very happy boy. Me and my boy Mark were very happy. His roommates were not too happy with us, but we were very happy that Detroit lost.
So, since you are a Chicago fan, what do you think about Paulie retiring?
I was happy to see that. I thought he should have done it last year. But he had a good send-off. That was one of my favorite players, a White Sox fan. He's got to be one of your favorite. He's got a nice statue out there in left field by, I think it's now the Chevy balcony, basically. And it's pretty cool. He was a good guy, a great guy for the city of Chicago. Everybody loved him. Even Cubs fans loved Paul Konerko. And yeah, that was my dad's favorite player. He's got a Konerko jersey. And, I mean, it's a sad day, but, I mean, it had to happen. He's gotten to the point now where I thought it should have been last year was his last year. But I like the send-off. He got a Jeter-esque send-off. Obviously not the same national coverage as Derek Jeter, but he got gifts from all the teams he played. And then, yeah, he had the big ceremony in his last couple of games, who I think it was actually Kansas City is who he ended the season against. And it's good to see. He'll be in the Hall of Fame sometime soon, I know that. And he's got his World Series championship in 05, and now I hope he makes his way to Comcast Chicago. I've heard some stuff about that. That would be interesting to see him, because I know Frank Thomas is there, which was my first ever favorite baseball player when he was with the White Sox in the early 2000s. So yeah, I mean, I'm a little worried about our future. I don't know what's next for the White Sox, but yeah, I just got to say thanks to Paulie for everything that he gave the city. It was a lot of fun. I saw him play countless games. He was a good guy, and yeah, I just hope to see him in the Hall of Fame sometime soon.
Yeah, so yeah, I hope. I was happy to see him go out. The recognition was not there for him, so I was kind of upset for him. He was a good ball player.
Yeah.
Wasn't the most valued,
Mm-hmm.
but for the team he played on, he was one of the top players.
Yeah, and especially you look back at that 05 season, he had a lot of clutch plays, a lot of clutch hits. I know he had I think a grand slam in the World Series that year. He had a couple other big home runs. Obviously, that Boston series, he had a ton of big hits. That was the series where A.J. Pierzynski had that drop third strike and he made it to third. And yeah, I mean, 05, that's kind of the best memory that you could have of Paul Konerko was that year. That's kind of the best memory any White Sox fan could have, really, was that 05 season. And I know he's been asked a lot about that recently since this whole retirement thing has come up. And yeah, I mean, like I said, that's the first time I watched a full baseball game was that Game 4 when we swept the Astros. But I'm just happy Paul Konerko did get that one ring. It was all kind of downhill, I guess, after there, at least for the team success-wise. But he had that one moment, and he deserved that. So I mean, I'm happy for the guy. I hope he goes to the Comcast Chicago. That'd be nice.
So I'm ready for baseball a little bit. There's a lot of sports watching this weekend, and thank goodness I got my schoolwork done because I don't plan on being away from my TV too much this weekend. So.
Yeah, I got you. I think that's gonna wrap up our baseball coverage. Just for, I guess, to put it out there, Sheridan agrees with us. She tweeted at us that she is going with the Cardinals, so that's all of us. I'm assuming
Adam will go with the Cardinals.
Oh, yeah, he's
yeah,
also
yeah,
a Cardinals fan.
If not, then he's like dead to me because you pick against the Packers. He's picking against the Packers too, and then he would even pick against the Cardinals. It would just be so heartbreaking.
So we're going to go ahead and take our second break of the show. On the other side, we're going to have some hockey talk between me and Ryan. I've been waiting 4 months.
I'm going to
Nope, you're still talking hockey.
Yeah, I know.
You can,
I still
okay.
gonna
I got a lot to say. Don't worry.
I know you have a lot
to
say. I can back up what you say and all that stuff. I have my picks. I wish I had a little heads up. I would have done
That's
a little
fine.
bit more thing.
No.
But I have my own opinions of what's going to go on this year.
And then Darius will jump in because I think we're going to break down some NHL uniforms, which Mr. Darius Hawkins, of course, has to have his input
Let's
on.
go Florida Panthers.
Yeah, we're doing the unofficial fan
ranking.
contest.
We're doing the ranking of the NHL
The unofficial
uniforms.
contest. Everybody out there listening, whoever can give me a free jersey first gets a picture with me wearing the jersey.
So there you go, C4 Sports exclusive. That's our first contest, actually. So good job, Darius. We got NHL actual stats and uniform rankings coming up next on the other side of this break. It's C4 Sports right here on 88.3 The Dog. Welcome back to C4 Sports right here on 88.3 The Dog. Darius, Ryan, and myself, Matt, are in the studio. It's time for a little hockey talk as a diehard Blackhawks fan. Last night was a very good night. Been waiting a long time for it. And that kind of will segue us into our second tweet that we got. It's from my cousin Anthony Calderon at ACPro9. He asked, what do you think of the Blackhawks last night? Do you think Dallas outplayed them? Yes, they did. Dallas completely outplayed the Blackhawks, especially through periods 1 and 2. The Blackhawks looked the better team in period 3 and overtime, with eventually Patrick Kane scoring the only goal in the shootout, the dirtiest hands in the NHL, on display last night with his shootout goal. And the Blackhawks stole 2 points from Dallas last night. Coach Q said the same thing. Crawford was incredible player of the game. And you know what? If you follow me on any social media, if you see me talk about the Blackhawks, you always see me talk about a championship mentality. And one of the things that makes up a championship mentality is winning games that you get outplayed in. That's what the Blackhawks did last night. Yes, it's concerning. I know it's game 1, and to be outplayed by a team like Dallas, who is a good team, especially with the addition of Jason Spezza, but the team speed by Dallas completely caught the Hawks off guard, who are traditionally a very good and strong skating team, which is concerning. But it's only game 1. They made the adjustments. What I liked was seeing Coach Q's adjustments coming out of the end of the second period, and the Hawks were completely the better team in the third period and overtime. And when it comes down to it, if Corey Crawford can play like that, he shouldn't have to, but if he can, that is a very good sign to see. Whether he'll be consistent the whole season, well, only time will tell. But that's what comes down to, and that's kind of the positive I'm taking away from last night, is championship teams win games they get outplayed in. And that's what the Blackhawks did last night. But there's still a lot of work to do. But it is game 1 of 82, so there's still 81 more games to go. I think tomorrow night will definitely be an interesting game as we take on Buffalo for our home opener at the United Center. I know it's going to be crazy. Buffalo, not a good team, so if we can stomp them, they'll be right on track where I think they are. I don't know how much you saw of the game, Ryan.
I saw a little bit. I was flipping in between that and a little bit of the football game. But I was for a first game, it was physical.
Yeah, it was exciting
And I don't know, I didn't see the third period because I was at work, but the first 2 periods it goes like what we were talking about last year. It was like if you put the muscle to Chicago, you're going to outplay them and you're going to do great, and that's what I saw. And I think Dallas is going to be a good team this year. Good game to open up with on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Good road win, and this is coming from a Blues fan, so
Yeah.
it stings me
Yeah.
a little bit saying this, but what a cakewalk you guys have for a home opener. I mean, at least the Blues picked the New York Rangers to come into town.
I don't think they
mean,
choose who they play. I think the NHL does that for them.
Hey, at least they have a winner come in instead of the Buffalo Sabres, but that's just me.
I think
so.
it shows that it's the toughest division in hockey. I think is that Central Division. You got Chicago,
Yeah,
St.
'cause
Louis, Dallas,
I have
Nashville.
5 teams coming out of that Central Division.
Well, I think you only get 4 with the way it's working.
No.
You can have 5.
But you have the top 2 wild cards come in.
That's true.
3 for each in the top 2 out of the
I don't
wild
like
cards.
this whole playoffs. You know how I feel about that. I think it's
See,
dumb.
me too, because I want Blackhawks, Blues, and the
Yeah. Conference
and the only
final.
reason that's gonna happen if I
Yeah.
pick the Blues like an 8
Yeah.
seed. I'm like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I'm not picking that.
Yeah.
But the season's been weird so far. I've watched a little bit of Pittsburgh because I have Sidney Crosby on my
Yeah, that
fantasy
makes
team.
sense.
I think they have a big rebound this year, unlike from last year, and they were like a tale of 2 teams. Also, just don't think it's the Blackhawks. They scored
Yeah.
3 goals in the first period. I'm like, oh, easy win.
Yeah.
Look back on the scores on the bottom line, it goes like 3-3. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
But it's still early. That's why we do the preseason rankings and all that stuff. Who we think is going to win. I think it's fun, but you're like, give me a month. Give
Yeah.
me a month. I want to know
Yeah.
what I'm looking at. After the first month, I usually tweak some of it a little bit, but I think I have a pretty good top 8 teams.
Yeah.
In each division.
Yeah, I could see that. So.
Talking about my Blues for a second, I
Yeah.
thought they were a little. Defense is going to be the question mark all year.
Yeah.
They just gave up they gave up passes that you thought were going to get out of the zone and should have gotten out of the zone. Just went in, stayed in, and Rangers capitalized. Hendrik Lundqvist stopped goals that.
For me, that's the best goalie in the NHL.
Yeah.
is Lundqvist.
So for them to only lose by 1, I mean, even though the Blues were at home, I'm going like, okay, I'm happy with it. A lot of new faces for the Blues. A
Didn't
lot of
Paul
line
Stastny
changes.
score
Paul
in his debut?
Stastny.
Or he had an assist. I know he had
I
at least a
think
point.
he scored. I know he had a. Can't think of it right now. I know he had an assist on one of the plays. I don't know if he scored. I'll take a look. I might have been getting ready for work if he scored, but I think it's just going to take a couple weeks for them to gel. Preseason, they had a horrible preseason, but players are still trying to get together, and you're facing a lot of lower players that are going to get cut anyway in preseason. I think, right? It's kind of like
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm hoping things change, but that's what I saw. So
Yeah, I think we'll get to that in a second. Well, actually, I mean, we can get to it right now. But,
but
yeah,
do we
I-
want to do jerseys so we can include?
no, well, do you want to do jerseys or do you
No,
want to
no,
do
Jersey,
no.
or do you want-
We can say that. We can say that
Darius is
later
still
on.
looking, he's still
Yeah.
looking up
Save it to
jerseys.
the end.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll end with our rankings of the NHL jerseys. Right now, I say
Snatsny did.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Snatsny had a goal.
he
Yeah.
got hurt too. I saw he took a hip check. Then he came
Ooh,
back.
that was
he
a
came
bad
back.
hip
yeah.
check, and
Yeah.
it goes like, I'm glad that he got
Yeah.
I forget if it was a 4-minute penalty or a
Yeah.
2-minute, but they didn't capitalize on the power play at all, and they had big chances. But that was the same. Blackhawks had a lot
Yeah.
of penalties by what I've been.
Yeah, the
what I
Blackhawks
heard.
took a ton of penalties. A couple were unlucky. They were kind of high sticks. You know, you're going for the stick lift and you missed the guy.
Yeah.
About 3. We had 3 like that. But I think it was just the speed of Dallas.
But I also just
Yeah.
think it's early on.
Yeah.
You're still trying to get.
Yeah,
your
because that's
groove.
what I said for the Blackhawks. They're still gelling with new lines. You had Brad Richards as a second line center. He still needs time to gel, especially with Patrick Kane. That's the connection. And obviously the Blues, you add Paul Stastny, who I think is going to be the
He's
second
the-
behind Backus, I believe.
By the way, that was their first line. Stastny was
Really,
in the first
they
line.
moved him to wing.
No,
Or did they put him at
Stastny center.
And they put Backus on the wing.
Backus is on the wing.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, I just think teams like that, you're going to see them, they need time to gel. And it's game 1 out of a lot, especially when you have a team like, for the Blackhawks in Dallas, who has something, I think they have something to prove. They're an up-and-coming team, and they want to take their shot. at one of the two best teams, like kind of the two, you could say champions of the West over
And
the past couple of years with them in
Rangers
LA.
look good.
And
I
the
feel
Rangers are the reigning Eastern Conference champion.
And that was question mark last year. Goes like, oh, but they played tough.
Yeah.
Throughout, and I think we're seeing a better New York. I think that St. Louis trade was better for them.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Definitely
yeah.
better for them. And people were questioning, goes like, why do you want to get rid of? I forget who they got rid of. Callahan.
Yeah, Ryan Callahan.
Yeah, it goes like, oh, he's younger than St. Louis. St. Louis won a championship down in Tampa Bay because of him. Because of St. Louis. So I'm like, that was a big pickup because he's a goal scorer.
Yeah, and he assisted Nash on that game-winning goal with about a minute left. He put that pass right underneath the sliding defender, right on the Nash's stick. But yeah, I mean, it's early. I mean, hockey is an 82-game season, 2 points for a win, 1 point if you just get to overtime. So that's why I was happy to see the Hawks win. It's only the first game, but that's a big point that you need in that division because that's the toughest division in hockey by
And
far.
I just had one more question. You said that they were going to pick up a penalty if you forced a change at the face-off, or did that
no,
not
it's
get
only
passed?
for icing. It's if you ice the puck and then you get kicked out because you know how if you ice it, it comes back to your own zone. So say me and you are on the same team and I ice the puck. So if we come back to our end and we're tired, so what we would do is say I'm the centerman, you're the winger. We would put you in the face-off circle and you get kicked out on purpose just to give us some time to rest, and then I'd come in. So say we try and do that and you get kicked out.
Okay, because I saw that. I forgot what the rule was because I saw that and I'm like, I thought that was supposed to be a penalty. And then,
No, I mean you can get kicked out. It's just as long as it's not a icing in your own zone. So yeah, that's the rule change I saw, as well as they resurfaced the ice going into overtime now too. They used to not do that. They do a dry scrape they call it. Before overtime, they didn't do that before. I think they just went over it once and that was it.
For the hoping that will settle,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think they need to retweak their
and they also
overtime and shootout thing. Maybe change the points.
Yeah.
You change the points. Give 3 points maybe.
Yeah, for a win.
For a regulation win.
Yeah.
2 for an overtime. Do something with points, and I think that'll go like, all right, let's not just skate by and try to get to the shootout and win it. Like, I'm not saying the Blackhawks do that, but they have great shootout scores. Because like, why should we risk let's not risk and maybe hope they score a goal. Let's try to get to the shootout because we know we can win in the shootout.
Yeah, the Blackhawks, they actually should have probably won it in overtime. Patrick Kane made what would have been, if Brad Richards would have been ready for the puck, a SportsCenter top 10. He deked about 3 guys and had a spinorama pass that Brad Richards just wasn't ready for right in front of the net. But, yeah, I mean, when you have Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, guys like that, Patrick Kane, the best hands, without question, in the NHL, and they were on display in the shootout last night. That was a dirty goal. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest you look at it. There's some GIFs. I know I retweeted it, so there you go. Follow me on Twitter. You can see the Patrick Kane goal. But, yeah, I think now...
I have better things to do with my life.
We'll look at the standings. I'm just going to go top 4 from each division. So there's 2 divisions per conference. The 4 I got coming out of the Atlantic in the Eastern. We're going to start East. Atlantic Conference in the East. I have Montreal 1, Boston a close 2nd, then Toronto actually have 3rd, who dropped their first game. But I have Toronto 3 because that was the team last year, the disappointment of the conference, who I don't know how they did not make the playoffs. But yeah, I got Toronto 3, my boy Phil Kessel, representing America up there in Canada. And then I have Tampa Bay 4. I have Steven Stamkos on my fantasy team. I said I had some bold predictions.
Do they make the playoffs?
Yeah, they can make the playoffs. They come in that last spot.
In the wild card, they're going to be one of the 2 wild cards.
Yeah, they're one. I'm just going to do 1 wild card per conference or division. That's how
you don't think there's going to be 2 from?
No, looking at Ottawa, no, losing Spezza. Buffalo, probably worst team in the NHL.
Yeah.
And Florida is right behind them. So I see. I'll just take Tampa Bay because I think my prediction for at least goal scoring. I think Stamkos hits 50 this year. Leads the NHL in goal scoring. Him and Ovechkin are 1-2. But I'd say he was my pick. He was number 3 overall in our league. That's what I had. I took Stamkos. There's not a better power play goal scorer than Steven Stamkos. That kind of one-knee slap shot, one-time slap shot he's got is my favorite shot in hockey. And the guy's just a natural goal scorer. He can score any way possible, whether it's one-on-one going to the net, one-timers, redirects, whatever it is. The guy's got he's the full offensive package. He's so much fun to watch, is Steven Stamkos. He's a lightning bolt. It's appropriate he plays for the Tampa Bay Lightning because that dude is a lightning bolt. When he gets the puck in center ice and has no defenders on him, nobody picks him up because he can fly and he can put it anywhere he wants. I think he has the most accurate shot in the NHL. He can put the puck anywhere he wants to, so I think Stamkos leads the NHL in goal scoring, and Tampa Bay gets that last spot. Then for the other division in the East, we'll go Pittsburgh 1, Rangers 2. Let's see. I'll go. You know what? I'll say Islanders 3, which will lead me into my next bold prediction. And I'll go Columbus 4, because they did sneak into the playoffs last year. I was a little bit surprised about that. They put up a fight against Pittsburgh, but my bold prediction with the Islanders, my MVP this year, my Hart Trophy winner, coming off ACL surgery, John Tavares, the 23-year-old captain of the New York Islanders. He had a great year in 2013, where he finished second for the Hart Trophy and MVP voting, and they made it. I think they won their first playoff series and lost in the second round to Pittsburgh. He had an ACL surgery while practicing for Team Canada before the Olympics last year. He had a great season. I think he already had like 25 goals before he got hurt, something like that. And I expect big things. I know he's coming off an ACL tear, which is a big injury, but this guy is an incredible talent. He has a chance in a few years to be the best player in the NHL. I love the guy's game. He's another full package. He reminds me a lot of Jonathan Toews, almost Sidney Crosby-esque too, where they do everything well. I think he's a better goal scorer than Toews is, maybe slightly less passer and less defensive-minded. But the guy is just a great goal scorer. He gets a lot of his goals from in front of the net. He's a smart player. He knows where to be on the ice. To quote Eddie Olczyk, if you want to score goals, go to the front of the net, and that's what Tavares does, and I expect a big season out of him. I'd say 30-some goals, close to 100 points from John Tavares this year, and that's my pick for the Hart Trophy. And I think Tavares, along with Kyle Okposo, who are a great 1-2 combo on that first line for the Islanders, I think they get into the playoffs. So that's what's your Eastern Conference looking like?
Okay, you saying that, I'm going to do how the playoffs are set up, because I have to, or
you'll get thrown off.
I'll get thrown off a little bit. I have Boston 1, Montreal 2, and that was hard to.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, if they go either way, I don't care. I have Toronto actually going 3-2, so surprise there. Pittsburgh 1. I have Rangers 3. I think they're still a great team, but even though they've lost their first 2 games, I'm gonna pick. I have the Flyers 2.
Okay.
I just because they've been there, they know what they're doing. I think it's still early, but I guess here are my 2 bold ones. I say the Red Wings continue to be in the playoffs.
Okay.
Their record still, their streak still goes, and I guess my surprise 8th. I think finally the Capitals get into the playoffs again. If not, Ovechkin needs.
Yeah, they have no defense over there.
They have no defense, but they still have Ovechkin. And
he's a -32 despite leading the NHL with like 51
maybe he'll
goals.
Change this year. He needs to change.
Yeah, he led the NHL in goal scoring with I think 51, the only guy to hit 50, but he was in -32, and he got I think half his goals came off the power play.
Yeah, I think it needs to change. I think it will. I think they fired their coach. And then I mean you're forced to have a coach that you don't want. I mean, an interim coach right now that went through, but now it's a new season. I think I can't bet against Ovechkin. I don't. I have my pieces of paper, I think, from last year of who I had, I think, but I think Capitals will get in. Maybe the Islanders, maybe out of the East. How you're talking to them might be that surprise, but I can't go wrong with. I want the Capitals. I'm not saying that I'm a huge Capitals fan, but Ovechkin brings up the ratings.
It's a good atmosphere there too in Washington.
It's
they
a
have
good
fan
atmosphere.
base
They could
at
just
the
get a little
Verizon
bit of
Center.
defense. I don't know if they've won their first game yet this year or not.
They lost to Montreal. It was close. Montreal, the late winner.
So
with
you're
like
going
a
to
minute
lose
left.
to Montreal.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll
They actually
deal with that.
outplayed them. It was
Yeah.
similar to the Blackhawks, where the Caps outplayed them for the first 2 periods. Then Montreal stormed back in the third period.
So maybe it'll all be about offense. Maybe defense will get shored up a little bit. I don't know what their goalie situation is now.
I think is it still Neuver? I think it's still the
Yeah.
goalie? Michael Neuver.
I forget, but
Yeah.
I'm hoping for better
Are you
things
saying-
out of Washington.
I think we can end on this. We'll move to the West. Do you think Ovechkin leaves if they don't make the playoffs and goes somewhere else? Because I know he's still got a lot of years on his contract.
He's got a lot of
Does he
years on
wanna
his
get
contract,
traded?
but I think you really need to. This year is going to be the fine point. You've said that the coach's problem was this last year.
Yeah.
If they don't make it to the playoffs this year, then you maybe need to save that as the players and revamping starts. And if it's with Ovechkin going bye-bye, maybe. Okay. Capitals will make the playoffs this year. Ovechkin is gone.
Okay, I got you.
That's my bold statement.
Okay. Moving on to the West, for me in the Central, best division in hockey, it's my top 3 are bang, 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 maybe 1 point separating each of them. Hawks 1, Blues 2, Minnesota 3. Minnesota looked great last night. They looked terrific. My two boys, who I also picked up in fantasy, Eric Holla and Mikael Granlund. Granlund had a goal last night. Those guys can fly. Holla might be the best skater in the NHL. He tore up the Blackhawks in the playoffs last year. He was the Wild's most effective player in that second-round series, which the Hawks won in 6 games, capped off by that Patrick Kane overtime winner in Minnesota. But the Wild look great at home. That's one of the best atmospheres in hockey is up there in Minnesota, where the Wild play. They have a great fan base, too, that has recently emerged with the success of the team. And you look at Zach Parise's balling. I think that guy has a terrific season. Gets close, I'd say close to 40 goals this year, close to 100 points. Watch out for him in the Hart Trophy conversation. The only problem is their defense. They have a similar problem that St. Louis does to me. Minnesota and St. Louis are similar teams. Goaltending shaky, very shaky. They just got rid of Bobrat. No, they had I forgot the Russian guy who was in Arizona. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name, but that's who the Wild had. They lost him. His name escapes me. I don't know why, but they lost him. The goaltender is still shaky. I think Backstrom is back in net for them, and the defense is not great. They're thin on defense, but St. Louis and Minnesota are two very good teams that can give the Blackhawks and the rest of the Western Conference, specifically the Hawks and the Kings, who are the kind of the top dogs right now, problems. So I think it goes bang, bang, bang. Maybe the Hawks up on the Blues by a point or two, the Blues up by 1 or 2 points to Minnesota. So all those three, it's going to be one of those three. Top in the Central. And then my fourth team, I guess if I had to pick one for the Central, would be Colorado, but I think they take a big step back. They just got stomped by Minnesota last night. Stomped bad. Obviously losing Stasny and a couple other guys, making a goaltender change. Patrick Waugh, the reigning coach of the year in Colorado, but the Avalanche squeak in. They're not going to do much in the playoffs. It's going to be one of those three. And then in the Pacific, which I think took a step back this year, really it's the Kings, and then I'd say the Ducks. Corey Perry had a hat trick in a loss last night. But I'd say L.A., Anaheim, San Jose, and then I'd say, you know what? Why not Edmonton? Why not? Out of those teams, I don't think it's going to be Vancouver. Maybe Calgary. Calgary has looked good early. I think it'll be Edmonton or Calgary. I'm just going to say Edmonton because Taylor Hall's got to do something eventually. He's a great player, a great young player. Not many people know about because Edmonton has been so bad. Same with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Those two are a great line. Hall had a goal last night, assisted by Nugent-Hopkins. And I think those two can take Edmonton into the playoffs where they will essentially be swept in the first round. But I'd say they make it in.
Okay, I have Blackhawks, St. Louis. I did have Dallas, but I forgot about Wild in there. I did have the Wild in the playoffs, but I'm going to switch them around. I have Wild. I think it's going to be close.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Wild won at the end.
Yeah.
It just depends on those games that
Yeah.
shoulda would like that win last night for Blackhawks because like that might
those are big. It's game one, but those were 2 big points for the
that's
Blackhawks.
2 big points and you go like that first win might come down to them being top. Then I have on the Pacific I have the LA Kings, San Jose Sharks, Anaheim Ducks. I think the Kings win that division easily.
Yeah.
But I have 5 teams coming out of the Central into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Colorado and Dallas.
Yep.
Colorado might be iffy, but I was looking at the Pacific. I just don't know who you choose to be a 4th team out of there. Vancouver, no. Edmonton, I cannot pick a Canadian team out of the West to come in and win. So that's why I have Colorado and Dallas. Maybe one of those Pacific teams just surprises. And
Well, San Jose crushed LA on banner night.
well, no, I'm talking about like to get into the wild card.
Okay.
Yeah, I like San Jose. That's why I have San Jose second.
Okay.
In the Pacific, they surprised me. They look dominant. Like it goes like, oh, we have something to prove because we were up 3-0, and it goes like maybe that wake up call was they had that on their mind this whole off season. So, my surprise from the West is. I don't know. It's just so powerhouse. There's not bold prediction.
It's
You
just
can
like
make-
basketball there.
maybe-
It's all in the Western Conference.
I guess this year I want Blackhawks Blues in the semi. Well, I guess
What should be the conference final?
Yeah, the I want. That's gonna be. It's just so hard.
Hockey is the hardest sport to pick. By far.
Because I don't want St. Louis to be an 8 seed. I
Yeah.
can't do that. I'm like, that's just stupid of me.
That's kind of what
to
I'm
make
saying.
it-
Yeah, for me, the top 3 teams in the NHL are Chicago, St. Louis, and LA. If it
So I
was how it
guess,
should
yeah,
be, I would have had Chicago, and St. Louis in the conference final, but instead they meet in that second round. I have Chicago winning a 7-game series and facing LA in the West final.
Yeah. So, who do you have going to Stanley Cup and winning? I know who.
I have a couple.
I know who you have from the West.
I have two scenarios. I think you'll be shocked. The one I'm sticking with is Blackhawks out of the West because as it stands right now, game 1 of the season, I think they're the best team in the NHL. Yes, I'm a fan. Yes, I'm biased, but I'm doing my best to remain unbiased because last year I think I had them losing in the conference final to LA before the season started. Then I had them losing in the conference final to the Ducks before the playoffs. But I think the Hawks come out of the West. They're too good. They're too deep, and they have that. The Hawks and the Kings are the team in hockey that they have. What I like to say is that championship mentality, which is last night for the Hawks. They won a game they got dominated in, and there's not many teams in the NHL that can do that. When you have Jonathan Taves, Patrick Kane is playing the best hockey I've seen him playing. If Corey Crawford can play even close to the way he did last night, which I think you'll see Crawford have the best season of his career, I got Hawks coming out of the West, beating St. Louis in a great 7. That's going to be the best series of the playoffs, would be Hawks and St. Louis. I got Hawks in 7, and then beating the Kings in 5 or 6 in the conference final, coming out of the West. And then in the East, I have Montreal coming out of the East. My boy, another bold prediction, I have PK Subban winning the Norris over Shea Weber, Duncan Keith, and Drew Doughty. I have Subban finishing second behind Tavares for the Hart for MVP. That's my boy. If my favorite player in the NHL, if I can't choose a Hawks player, it's going to be PK Subban, even though he's from the Canadiens, arguably my least favorite team because I cannot stand the province of Quebec or the city of Montreal. Subban's still my boy. I think he has a great year, even though he had a bad turnover last night against the Caps, which led to a goal. But I think Subban wins the Norris Trophy, finishes second for MVP. I have Hawks over Canadiens for the Stanley Cup in 6 games. But if it's not Chicago, I'm rolling with St. Louis to come out of the West. I think the winner of that playoff series, Hawks and Blues, will be the Western Conference champion. I think the Blues can beat LA.
Okay, I gain respect for you.
As I will have the Blues coming out of the West. I think that playoff series will
forgive you.
How the Western Conference final was last year, Hawks and Kings, that's going to be the Hawks and Blues this year. So I have the Blues, but I have the Blues losing to Montreal in the Stanley Cup final.
Okay. I have, each of my scenario, I have an East team winning it this year.
Okay.
My primary one, and even though the first game was kind of iffy, I have Pittsburgh over Blackhawks in the finals. I think Malkin and
they have a lot of depth. They need to stay healthy this year.
They need to stay healthy, and I think that's the big thing. If they stay healthy,
Fleury too. Fleury, he gave up. Did you see the goal he gave up last night? That's how they came back. He went way out of his net, turned the puck over, and it led to an empty net goal for whoever they.
And if it's not, and I guess my second one, I said this last year during the playoffs. I don't know why this is not my primary. I have the Stanley Cup goes back to its home, and it goes back to Montreal,
Okay.
and I will be cheering for that if it's not it's not the Blues. I don't think the Blues will make it to the final. I still think I think goalie and defense is just going to stop them unless they prove me wrong by building more.
I think
their
physical play. They have to be overly physical, which can hurt them. I think that's why
Dude,
they lost to the Hawks. Because
TJ Oshie just started a fight last night, and that was nice to see from a guy that usually don't fight.
Well, I think they have to be. The problem with the Blues, why I think they lost to the Hawks, is we're about to get Darius involved here as we'll finish the show with a little NHL swag, if you will. But why they lost to the Hawks, they had to be overly physical, and when you're overly physical, you extend your defense to try and make that check, and you have a team like the Blackhawks or even the Kings and stuff like that, they're going to open you up like that and get some good scoring chances. But I think they have the offensive ability, and if they can find stability in net, I don't think they're really going to sew up the defense at all. They're not deep enough at defense, but if they can get consistent goaltender play, they can make a run. But so you're sticking with Penguins over Hawks, and I'm going to stick with Hawks over Canadiens.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would really like to see, even though I'm American, I'd like to see him go back to Canadiens. With Subban in there, I mean.
And Carey Price is involved.
Yeah, Carey, and he's on my fantasy team too, so that helps out.
All right, Darius. Now to end the show, final 10 minutes as the clock reads 6:51. Let's hear. What do you want to do? Top 5 uniforms in the NHL. What do you got? Start at 5.
Start at 5. Okay, I got the home jersey from the Detroit Red Wings.
Okay. Yeah, classic.
Okay. 4. I got the home jersey from the New Jersey Devils.
Okay.
Right. I like red, so red plays a part. Number 3, you gonna think this is number 1, but number 3, I had the away jersey, the Reds from the Chicago Blackhawks.
Wait, the white or the red?
The red.
So that's the home.
That's the home. Oh, so they wear
They wear
It's
colors.
kinda like
it used
foot-
to
it's
be.
kinda
It
like
changed
football.
about 10
Yeah.
years ago. It
Okay,
used to be
all right.
white was home, but then after the 05 lockout, color has become home.
All right, okay, all right. So yeah, I have the home. I guess I could have read
Yeah,
that.
the
but I
red-
thought
the
it was
Red
what I was talking
Hawks.
about. Yeah, all right. Then number 2, I have the home jersey from the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay, yeah, that's a nice one.
And then number
Yeah.
1,
I like
number
it.
1, we got the I don't know if it's home or away. All I know is teal, and it is the San Jose Sharks.
Which one?
This,
Yeah, that's their.
yeah, there you go. The home jersey from the San Jose Sharks.
Okay.
Okay. Are the Sharks
That's a
good?
bold pick. Yeah, they're pretty good. They the Kings are the reigning Stanley Cup champion. They beat them 4-0 on their Kings banner night 2 nights ago.
Okay, well, they're not good enough because they didn't win a title. So if you want to get better, San Jose, send me a free jersey. Okay, it don't need to have a name and nothing on the back. If you want to, you just put Hawkins on the back. The number is 13. Y'all can send that my way. Or any people out there listening, y'all go ahead and once again, you get a picture with me with the jersey on. You're going to be in the picture, and then you can say that you know Darius Hawkins. So we
Well,
all
I'm getting you a Hawks jersey. I'll tell you that. That's what your
Yes,
your
you
birthday present.
keep
is,
telling
the
me
Hawks
that, and
jersey.
I'm all ready for that.
All right.
Any hockey jersey, I basically embrace. I like these hockey jerseys. These
all
are
right.
nice.
Ryan, if you don't have a top 5 in a specific order, what are some of your
Yeah,
favorite uniforms?
yeah, because I didn't have time to look. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of everything.
Because I saw Darius over there doing some hardcore
Yes, I
research.
was.
Can we
while you were
say
breaking
all?
down
Can
some
we say
hockey.
all time?
Yeah, you could go all time.
All time beats them. Okay, Hartford Whalers.
Yeah, those are-
love those. But if I'm gonna pick, that's my all-time favorite
Okay.
jersey. Out of them right now, I would have Blackhawks one. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Coming from
Yeah, I
somebody
respect
that's a diehard Illini fan who loves Chief Illini Wick, and
Yeah.
I can't have Chief Illini Wick. I guess Blackhawks are the closest thing to it because I can't pick the Florida Seminoles. After that, I would probably have to say I like Canadians. They
Okay.
haven't changed at all. They've stayed the same. Would probably throw in Pittsburgh in there, like the Penguin on there, because that's been traditional all the way around. Probably like the. That's 3. Who else? I like the Rangers, I guess, but and I like the old Mighty Ducks jerseys.
Yeah, I agree.
The
That would
old-
probably be, if it's not the Hawks for me, the Mighty Ducks are my favorite.
with the
The sticks.
2 sticks in
Yeah,
the
and
back.
The skull kind
Yeah,
of.
I like that.
Yeah,
I want like.
I want to get Teemu Solani. Chris Chelios for the Hawks is my first ever favorite sports hero. Teemu Solani is a close second who just retired. That's my goal, is to get a Solani Mighty Ducks jersey. For me, coming in at 5, I would say, despite being a diehard Blackhawks fan, I'd say the Red Wings are at number 5. That just classic look
Oh,
that
yeah, I
they have.
forgot about them.
And I kind of like something fun that most people don't realize. The Red Wings, because you know how they have the A for alternate captain, C for captain. Only team in the NHL to put it on the right shoulder instead of the left. Everybody else does left. The Red Wings put it on the right. Which is a little interesting. That's why if you see them like from the 09 or 08 Stanley Cup final, they'll have the patch right next to the captaincy letters, which is kind of cool. But I mean, it's just that classic look, especially the white ones. I love the white Red Wings jerseys. 4 would be the New York Rangers, another classic look. I just think I'm not really a fan of classic looks unless it's hockey. I think the classic looks in hockey look the best because there's too many kind of gimmicky looks in hockey, which I don't think work too well. So that's why I'm going with the Rangers at 4. 3 for me would be honestly the Anaheim Ducks. I love the look. I prefer the Mighty Ducks to the
I like
current
the
look.
old. I don't like. The,
I don't really-
like the
yeah.
orange. I
Yeah.
don't get it.
I prefer the ones they've had since they changed to the Ducks, not they go with the big D now in the center. Not a huge fan of that, but I mean I still like it. I just kind of like the black
Because it looks
and
like the
teal.
little duck's
Yeah.
foot.
Yeah. I do like the colors the Ducks have, and I kind of like what they're doing with their uniforms. I'll put them at 3, even though I do prefer the Mighty Ducks. 2 has got to be the Pittsburgh Penguins. I do have a Crosby jersey. I mean I like Crosby, but I love the uniforms they have in Pittsburgh. You give me any Penguins jersey and I like it. But one obviously has to be the Blackhawks. That's the classic of classic for hockey.
I forgot to bring up. I liked Washington. I like
Yeah, I do.
Washington's. I like the
Yeah.
I like the red, white, and ones that
Yeah.
they will show once in a while that has the stars because it reminds me of the old
Yeah.
Washington Bullets back
Yeah.
in the day of the NBA.
Yeah.
And I just like that. Being around the nation's capital, I think you have to have some
Yeah, I
little
agree.
red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
That whole teal phase they were going
Yeah.
through. Ooh.
Well, see, that's why for me, you bring that up. Obviously, the Mighty Ducks are on there for me. I'd also put the Capitals white ones from like 06, like 90s to 06 was where they had the eagle on it. The eagle with like the stars in the wings. That was another favorite. So for my 2 throwbacks, if I'll do that, it's the Mighty Ducks and the white Capitals with the eagle look on it. But
I'd have to
obviously-
go Hartford
Yeah.
way back, and
Yeah.
those are always nice. So
I got you. So yeah, I think that's gonna basically be it for the show. Darius, I'm glad you were able to get some sort of hockey talk in there. We'll educate you some more so you can get your own little opinion on the throwback.
Yeah. Okay.
2 weeks away. 2 weeks away from our NBA preview.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because next week there's a volleyball game on.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, there's nothing on that. So then that'll be the weekend right before. So I have 2 weeks to prepare for the NBA. So
Can I just ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Are you going to pick the Brooklyn Nets to get to the finals again?
yes. Well, why not? I mean, it looked so awesome for me last year. No, probably not at all. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually going to spend a little bit more time on it this time with my bold predictions. So.
Yeah, the East. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with the East. That's just Cleveland, Chicago,
Yeah.
and then I don't know.
It changes every day
Washington.
Washington's will probably be
Washington's
three.
starting to become.
Yeah.
I heard the new bad boys
Yeah, a
like
little bit.
Detroit.
for me. Yeah, I don't know about
That's
that.
what I've heard, but that's ESPN
Yeah,
talking.
yeah, that's why I don't listen to
Talking
them.
garbage.
ESPN doesn't know what they're talking about with basketball.
Yeah. So
All right, guys. My name, Matt Langman. Follow me on Twitter at lmanmatt93.
my name's Ryan Mason. Please don't follow me, but if you have to, it's at Mason_ILG.
That person who doesn't want followers. Okay.
Never heard
I'm
that.
Darius Hawkins, and if you want to follow not follow Matt, you want to follow Ryan, and you can't, you can just follow me anyway as a pity follow, and I will take it anyway. Y'all can follow me at _Hawk_13.
All right, so that's all we got for this show. We're on every Friday, 5, I guess, to maybe 6:15 next week. Then the week after that is the show everybody wants to hear. NBA preview coming up in 2 weeks. That's 5 to 7. This has been C4 Sports, the best sports talk in Macomb. For Darius and Ryan, I'm Matt, and we are out.
Oh, and shout out to everybody, Sheridan, and what's your cousin's name?
Anthony.
Anthony. Sheridan and Anthony,
we
we
go.
appreciate y'all.
Darius
Yeah.
coming up clutch with the shout out.
Exactly. There
So
we go.
yeah, we have to get some sort of merchandising or something. I don't know. We'll think of something. We'll brainstorm. We'll get our tweeters.
Give us a blank white
We'll give
T-shirt
them
and a
something.
marker, and we'll write C4 Sports on it.
We'll
you
get-
provide the shirt and the marker.
Yeah,
and
you have to bring both
we'll
of
do
them.
the
Yeah.
art.
We'll autograph.
We'll
We'll
autograph it,
yeah.
and we'll write C4
Yeah.
Sports
How
on
about-
it.
yeah,
but
all right.
you have to bring the
All
shirt.
right, you can
whoever
get
wants.
hooked up with an autograph. How about that? We'll do
Yeah.
an autograph. C4 Sports.
And don't put it on
autograph something.
eBay. I know how y'all get down.
All right, this has been C4 Sports autographs pending, and we are out.